Benigno. This is Emily C., my new bestie.
I hate the idea that someone out there hates me. I even hate thinking that Al-Qaeda hates me. I think if they got to know me, they wouldn't hate me.
This stole the show. Emily C. was phenomenal.
There's something you need to know.
What?
You're doing great.
Look at my baby. Here she is. Emily. 10 out of 10. Huge fan.
I see Emily C says 123. I trust her. She's really good.
Listen, Turtle. You gotta watch your language. I'm already live. So you need to follow the FCC guidelines.
He destroyed, left nothing in her path. It was so good.
Hello, everybody. I'm Emily C. You might know me as Hank Brennan or Kelly Dever or Colin Albert, but tonight I'm just me, and tonight I am this is like a full circle moment, beyond excited to welcome Samantha Benigno to the show. I was thinking about why her input in this community has been so valuable to me, and I'm sure to so many of you. And I was thinking about that, like, we're just normal moms quote that we all kind of like make so much fun of, but it really is true. Like, I feel like Samantha's expertise in her field allows us to like get into a part of our own brain where we're like, wait, that like could have been us. And like, would I be doing what Jen McCabe is doing right now? And like, why is she acting like this? And I have been an enormous fan since the first time I watched one video. I was completely hooked. So if you are like me, then you can probably say this part with me. But Samantha Benigno is a behavioral scientist, a career psychotherapist, a 6th-year PhD candidate, a master's level psychologist and counselor. And I would like you to help me in welcoming her to the show tonight.
That was the greatest
Hello.
intro ever. Hello. That was
How
awesome.
are you?
I'm good. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was good. It was low key. We stay around here. And it was the first one that my son didn't completely melt down 5 minutes into it. So we're on a good trajectory.
That's actually a really good trajectory, I'm guessing.
It was. What about you? How was yours?
Yes, so I was up there. I just came back last night. Not quite all the way east towards where you are, but pretty far north, and wanted to get ahead of a possible snowstorm in New England. So back here in New York City, but it was great. It's a big holiday in my family. Thanksgiving is like this, fab holiday. So it was fun. Yeah, it was great.
Did you try to get ahead of a snowstorm by canceling your flight, driving back with friends, and then drinking for the next 24 hours straight?
No.
That's what we do.
Those days are very much long behind me. So
yeah, no, it's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it doesn't go well in the end, as we've all seen.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. But no, this feels very like you are on my screen constantly, and now it's like I feel like I talk to you anyways. Like you'll be like, what's that person's name? And I'm like, oh, I know. Can you hear me?
Totally get it. I totally get it.
This really feels like a full circle moment. I'm so happy that you're here. And we were texting a little bit earlier, and I was kind of like, what rabbit hole do we want to go down? And I didn't want to like over plan anything, because I feel like we can just like, take our time figuring out where the evidence takes us today.
Totally. I'm thrilled. I can't wait. I'm very excited.
To start, I like to ask everybody who comes on the show what sea creature they feel like. And there are new sea creatures today just for you.
Okay.
So I would like to chat if you guys feel comfortable sharing how you're feeling. I would love to see that. And
Mm.
Samantha, how are you feeling today?
Well, I was gonna pick a mermaid.
I need to add a mermaid. Writing myself
Doesn't
a note.
count though, because she's not there. No, actually, today is my birthday.
No
And it
way!
is.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Wait, this
And
is the best.
so I'm all these things kind of mixed into one, right? Like I'm overwhelmed, I'm happy, I'm a little sick, I'm a little silly. So I feel loved though today. I'm gonna go with the seahorse because certainly I've gotten a lot of love from everybody today, which feels
Well,
nice.
you are very, very loved, and I can't believe we get to spend your birthday with you. Happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Oh
happy
my
to be
gosh,
here. It's great.
how exciting. You guys,
Mm, mm, mm,
what a treat. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
mhm, mhm,
What I wanted to start with, um, I did an exercise with the loophole lawyer,
mhm.
um, kind of like get an overview from him about, um, like kind of where he would place all of the characters.
Right.
And I would love to do that with you too. I feel like it was just a nice way to kind of like get the lay of the land and kind of hear like there's so much evidence that we kind of filter through as we're learning about this case.
Mhm,
That not everything can be important. And it's
mhm,
like so interesting to me to see what stands out to each person and like what each person kind of like values and puts weight
mhm.
in.
Yeah.
So this is how it goes. Um,
Mm.
this is, can we see this? I don't know how to make, I need to like, I don't know how to make anything bigger.
I can
Wait,
see it good.
okay, good. Whoop. Um, so the way this works is
Mhm.
it's like one graph going this way that's like the witnesses, the people,
Okay.
and it's if they were involved in the murder from none. So we have Lucky over here.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and then increasing involvement to knew what happened, participant, and then killer with motive.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
this side is kind of like the law enforcement side. So it's the involved in the cover up, and it goes from none, Barrows,
Mhm.
and then increasing involvement to knew what happened, participant,
Mm.
and cover up with motive.
Okay. Love it.
Um, and so for each person that we get to, I would love
Mhm.
to hear like where you would place them and why, and kind of like what is what's guiding your thinking in that.
Let's go. That sounds like fun. It's
Okay,
just so
so
fun to be able
first
to
up,
talk to somebody, right, about this case because like,
yes,
we know so much about it, right? And you don't get to just, like, chat with, the average person about it all the time, so it's fun to talk
sometimes
about.
I try. I'll like talk to my mom about it, and then she's like 2 minutes in, she's like, "Okay, Emily." Like I see this like glazed over look on her face, and I just keep
Totally.
going anyways.
Exactly.
Your sister's really into it though, right?
Yes, yeah, like, but she's into a lot of cases too, so I feel like hers kinda
Okay.
ebbs and flows, like, sometimes she'll be all in on something else, and so, you know, sometimes
She's
for
like,
sure.
"Koberger," and you're like, "No, a different Brian."
Exactly. That's right. Or she'll ask me though, like it's fun. She'll ask me like, "Hey, can you take a look at this case that I don't even know exists?" and just give her information. And so it's been fun for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so up first is Brian Albert.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's an easy one. You gave me a softball to start, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, we definitely have involved killer, and I think he's as close to like I wouldn't put him all the way right. I'd put him like
like
half step further maybe to the right, like this the other way, closer to the line. There we go. Yeah, because I think
and yeah, what is
with
why?
him, I will tell you that I was reminded Be in Trouble did a wonderful job of doing an analysis of the waterfall video. I got this
Mhm.
new chair and I'm like, I can't get comfortable in it. Sorry. So, but he did an amazing job of analyzing that waterfall video where you can see Nicole and Brian also pointing at John and trying to get him to come. That's something that when I saw it 4 months ago, right, it rang a bell, but then I forgot about it because, right, there's all this other stuff. And with this case, the evidence is extraordinary. I can't even begin to, it's extraordinary. It's overwhelming. There's so much. So you can forget. You just like forget certain things. And I forgot that. And I think that does and puts Nicole closer to the top of this list too.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. For me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I might have to I feel like the that waterfall video is so frustrating to me, the way the timestamp is placed
Right.
and
Right.
how grainy it is. Like, every time I watch it, I'll, like, pull it up. I'm like, "Today is the day." Like, I'm gonna, like, really take a deep dive into that video, and then I'll spend, like, 3 minutes with it, and I'm like, I lost her. Like, which one was Nicole now? And, like, they, like, mesh into each other, and then, like, a different person pops out the other side, and I'm like, "Oh, this is too
Totally.
frustrating."
Totally. That's the way I feel about the Brian Higgins footage in the snow in the police station parking lot. Like
Oh,
watching
yeah.
that
The
is
one they
just
filmed from Mars.
right, exactly. And you're like, what is going on in this? I can't see anything. Yeah, that one's tough.
I pulled up before the pictures that we have from I forget what that telescope is called, that took pictures of the pillars of what are they called? Pillars of in space, the big
Yeah.
things that
Yes.
are like 6 billion light years away, and they're like
Right.
crystal clear. The Hubble, thank you.
That's
Um,
crazy.
and they're crystal clear. It's like this amazing, beautiful, like 10 out of 10 footage, and then the Canton Police Department can't take a video of Brian Higgins 4 feet in front of it. Like,
Is that surprising
what's the
though?
point
No.
of even having cameras? Like,
No.
you might as well just not.
Well, who knows? Maybe that was intentionally edited to be even worse than it was. God only knows.
Oh, no, Colleen Crawford would never.
I know. Of course not.
This one I'm actually interested about. So next is
Oh,
Chris
Chris.
Albert, and I feel like
Wow.
he is an interesting one in terms of, like, I feel like I've heard people go all across the spectrum with him.
So Chris is a very interesting character in all of this. I was just talking about Chris on a video that I'm working on. So
I can't wait.
yeah, Chris, to me, Chris serves a number of interesting purposes throughout this whole thing, right? He gives credibility to, because my whole question with Chris is like, what the hell is Chris Albert doing on the ABC, Nightline special with Matt Gutman, right? Chris Albert has nothing to do with this. He was not in the house, allegedly. I mean, most people do not believe he was in the house. Whether he eventually is called to the house, we don't know. You could make that argument, certainly, but it's clear to me that his actions after the murder are being governed based on wanting to protect his son. So to me, Chris is motivated entirely around protecting Colin. And it's one of the things that sends up a red flag that Colin has more involvement than they want him to have. So I would put him on the cover up motive side, right? Like just on the other side of the line.
Mhm.
He probably could have, the truth about this is I was just watching because I was looking at the timeline for Colin's alibi. So like I said, I'm working on a video about Colin and he's still in the bar. He's actually one of the last people that ever speaks to John O'Keefe in the
Mhm.
bar that night. And he knows what's coming. Like he knew that Brian Higgins and Brian Albert and Nicole are planning on, whatever they're planning on doing. He's aware of it. He could have stopped it. He could have told them, right? Don't
Yeah.
go. Don't go. But he doesn't. So that's interesting to me. I just realized that tonight.
when he goes in that video, so it's like Brian and Nicole leave, and then he goes over to the bar. Is that when he talks to John one more time, like over at the bar? And then
Yes.
he kind of like wanders around, talks to a guy in the band, and then goes to the bathroom.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So,
It's like
and
exactly
you
at
don't
12:10.
and you don't think that he gave him any like warning in that
No,
moment? No.
definitely not. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
That's so interesting that you put him where you did because I kind of thought of that side as like cover up in the um, law enforcement sense, but that to me is spot on. That like he wasn't. If we're going to ignore the one police report that said he was there
Right.
for no apparent reason,
Right. Which is very weird.
yeah. But so I guess we all just pretend that didn't happen because who knows? I guess.
Right.
um, But then that makes a ton. I like that spot for him. He
Mhm.
looks he looks like he belongs there.
Right. He
Um,
does, right?
yeah. It's like he's like watching it all go down. Even the way he's facing in that picture, he's like, "I see it all, and I will help you make sure you get away with it."
Totally. Yes. He also adds some credibility to the House defendants when he's, featured on a panel with them because he can say pretty easily, I had nothing to do with it. But he'll say
Mhm.
instead, we had nothing to do with it, right? So it's like easier for him to do that than Matt or Jennifer or any of the rest of them.
And I feel like he has the credibility in the like he was friends with John before
Mhm.
this kind of even though it's like didn't sound like a close friendship, but I think they're playing it up. But that they were friends, he liked him, he has
Sure.
that kind of like baby face.
Yeah, 100%. All those things. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
um
And he's also a very popular guy. I mean, he's at that freaking pizza shop all the time. Just in case you want to go hang out with Chris Albert, you can.
I do not. I actually
You
um
don't?
don't think that would be the best idea for me.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a great idea either. Don't
My
you?
goal for a very long time was like I was like I want to like get it, like have an outlet for my ideas on here and have people to talk to, but I want to like kind of fly under the radar in terms of like my neighbors not knowing me, and I am worried that
Yeah.
that ship has sailed.
I think it might have gone. I think the wind is blowing
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah. Yeah,
How about Mr.
you're local,
Morrissey?
so that's tough for
Mhm.
sure.
Oh, it's fun.
Okay, Michael Morrissey. Wow. Whew.
Mhm.
So Morrissey strikes me as equal parts culpable and blind, right? Like you can tell, I think the thing that gives away his blindness, I'm trying to find a better word for it, but just ignorance. Like he doesn't know anything about the Sandra Birchmore case, right? So we see from those personal email dump that we got all those thousands of requested emails off of his personal server that like he's surprised when the feds announce that the Sandra Birchmore case is the thing is being investigated by the feds or is that there's actually charges against Farwell, right? He legitimately seems, like, shocked, like, "Is this true?" Like, he actually, I
That was,
think,
like,
says
almost helpful, like, it wasn't good that everything came out for him, but that one detail actually is a little bit, like, redeeming for him because it's like, "Oh, you really are that out of touch." Like, when you
right.
act out of touch, you really truly are.
Correct.
Card.
Yes. I think he's out of touch. Exactly. Exactly. So I think he's equal out of touch and culpable because he clearly has not taken the time to investigate to find out what actually is going on. And it's sort of it strikes me that he at this point is either like directly responsible for the taillight stuff being there, like the planting of evidence, or is just, making or like gave orders that indicated we want this wrapped up in a nice, neat bow as quickly as possible. Do whatever you have to do to make that happen, right?
And, yes, and, like, when you say that, you don't mean, like, pin it on the girl kind of wrapped up, you just mean, like, wrapped up. Like, I don't want that on the board saying unsolved, I don't
Yes.
want that on my hand saying a Boston police officer, we don't know what happened.
Yep. I think he probably is, up to a point anyway, believed that Karen Reed was guilty. I think a lot of these people, cops wise, believed that. And I
Yeah.
think it motivated the behavior in the beginning for all of them, but I don't think that all of them stayed in that place, if that makes sense.
What an interesting moment for the ones that are not in that place anymore, like, the
Could
day that it all came, like, crashing down on them.
you
Like, I wonder if
imagine?
it was, like I wonder if it was, like, all at once or if it was, like, slowly. Like, if they just woke up one day and they were like, "Oh, no."
Yeah, right? That would be a horrible nightmare to wake up in, for sure.
So where do we put him? Like, I feel like we need to, like, split him in half almost.
That's a great question. Okay, so where do we put him? Uh, I mean, he's obviously more than a participant, right? Because every decision he makes is having an impact on the outcome. And he just keeps doubling down no matter what. Right? It's like he's not looking at any of the details. He's just saying, double down, double down, double down, right?
Mhm.
And it's like making bad decision after bad decision. The whole thing with Aiden is another really good example of that. So he's got he's more than just a dumb man, to put it nicely. I was gonna say something else,
Mhm.
but he's more than just ignorant. I think we have to put him on the closer to, like, knew what happened, participated, and is making decisions regardless of who is really the killer, right? Like, I think that's the point. Like, at this point for
Mhm.
Morrissey, it doesn't matter what really happened. All that matters is, like, he protect his guy, he save face, they double down on protecting themselves,
Mhm.
right? Because now they're
So
culpable.
yeah. And it
Mhm.
does make you wonder, like, is that standard practice for him, or was this a special case?
I know. I've noticed that some of Karen's attorneys that are local seem surprised by the behavior of the prosecutor's office in this case. Like, genuinely, like, wow, these people, some of these folks have this amazing reputation and this office is held in really high regard. So I think this was an anomaly to many people, right? Obviously, it wasn't an anomaly because look at all the other evidence for all these other cases that, Proctor's involved in and the Farwell case. And we see now what shoddy police work these guys were up to. But I think for a long time, their reputation was solid.
Mhm. So it was like Morrissey just kind of this was the first one where he was kind of like a look the other way situation versus just like, "I have all these great guys who do such great work. Wow, I'm so lucky."
I think so, because remember, there hadn't been a murder, certainly not of a police officer, but in Canton in like
Mhm.
decades, right? So this wasn't, it was a murder and it was the murder of a police officer, right? So,
And it was snowing, and it, like, never snows in New England, so it's like they just didn't even have the cars for this, like, it was just, like,
right.
such an outlier.
Exactly, right. Yes, none of which is an excuse, right? That's
So,
awesome.
is this do you feel comfortable with that spot? You want him
Absolutely.
more
Yeah, I think
okay.
he's good there. Yes.
Yeah, I like that for him too. Yeah, I really like hearing where you're placing them because it's like an interesting compared to I was kind of like doing it myself and this is different. Um,
Mhm.
where would you put Miss Jennifer
Oh,
McCabe?
God, Jan McCabe. Interesting. So, she's obviously not involved in the killing, right? I mean, she's got nothing to. She liked Karen that night, and obviously had a little crush on John. So, as far as I'm concerned, so
Mhm.
I would definitely not put her anywhere near the actual sequence of events that led to his death. However, she clearly very, very soon after, it's hard to know, and this is, I think, a question that a lot of us struggle with. Like, at what point is Jennifer McCabe brought into the know? Is it once she's gone from the house, like as soon as she drops off Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson? Is it at some point while she's still in the house? Like, where does that happen, right? Uh, and that's a tough question to answer. I haven't sat and looked to answer it just yet because there's a lot of other questions in the way. But that is definitely important. So I would say, man, she's definitely somewhere in the yellow zone, I think.
On this side, like
Good
the
question. Well, on this side, she's all the way to the red. On the other side, I'm looking on the involved in the murder. That's a good
Mhm.
question, 'cause she's a part of the cover up. So you're right.
And like I didn't design this. Like in my mind when I put it together, I
Mhm.
had her on the involved in the murder side, but now that you kind of like reframed that for me, like to I think this is the side that makes sense.
Right.
If we're saying like unless she knew, like I do feel like there is a critical period from like 12:32 to like 1 a.m.
Mhm.
where they made a decision not to call 911.
Mhm.
They like I don't think that John went down and they were immediately like cover up, let's go. And if she was at all like in the know in that moment, then I feel like she's kind of on the involved in murder side.
Right.
But I guess we like really have no way. And this is all in my opinion, so don't sue me.
Yes, and I certainly believe what I'm saying. I mean, good luck with that. You know? Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the right side, honestly, I mean, she's on par with Chris. She'd
Yeah,
be
or if
just
not
even more.
even more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Brian Albert is telling her what to do. She's, befriending, Carrie Roberts, and if you notice that first day, I mean, literally, she's, like, hanging up the phone with Brian Albert and literally immediately calling Carrie right after, right? It's like
Mhm.
she is taking her marching orders directly from Brian Albert throughout the entirety of that time. Um, and so she is big time involved in this now on that side, big time.
And, like, thinking about what you just said about, like, did she find out after she dropped the girls off? I feel like that
Mm.
wouldn't make sense. Like, you wouldn't, like, get home and then find I mean, I guess I don't see how that would have happened, you know?
Well, I guess, let me say it a different way because I think you're right. The question is, was she tasked with trying to make it seem like everything is fine for those 2 girls?
Mhm.
Right, because Nicole is her sister, clearly. Nicole, more and more I'm looking at Nicole, right? Because she Brian Albert has her with them, away from everybody else. What he says is important because his version of events is what he wants us to believe. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't say it, right? So
Mhm.
it may not be true, but it's what he wants us to believe. And he wants us to believe that she's with him and Brian Higgins for, a short period of time, which means she
Mhm.
obviously would have had knowledge of what was happening. And if she knows, it's not going to be long before her sister is brought in to the loop, right?
That is so and that weird one sentence with that Higgins threw in where he was like, "Yeah, I think, like, Nicole might have been there for, like, a second."
Right?
Like,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
guys, like, we all have a memory, like, we know how memory works, like, either a person was there or they weren't. They're not like, "Maybe
absolutely.
she popped in for a second."
Yeah. Yes, right. Maybe
Interesting.
Ryan told me I'm supposed to say that she popped in for a second, right? That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like I
100%.
forget my lines. Line.
Oh my God, like the sun in the Marines, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. When in real time, I saw that from Jen McCabe and like almost fell out of the chair. I was like, wait, what? Did you
Mhm.
just say that?
And then she just spit it out. It's like, and the sun and the Marines, and it
Right.
was a beautiful sunny day. He's like,
And
wait,
you're
what?
like, wait, what? What? Oh, it's crazy.
I
Okay.
was rewatching Allie McCabe's testimony recently, and
Mm.
she had a little like one-liner that I was like, oh, the son came home from the Marines on February 11th, and they had a party for him
Yes.
in the period of time where they were still finding taillight.
Right. Yes, he did. And there are, yeah, images of Colin's knuckles during that time that I think were important for the
Mhm.
defense team, if I remember correctly. At the house, they have a party for him.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
we didn't and that wasn't the picture we got to see. That's one that we still never saw, right?
It's the one no, I think we saw it. I think. I have my God, it's a great question. I think we see it. I think it's the one where he's in the black T-shirt. He's with his mom. I remember seeing it and thinking
Oh, yes, you're right, you're right.
I remember
Mhm.
thinking, "Wow, she's aged quite a bit." I mean, I'm a little vain, so that would but I remember thinking like, "Holy wow, that woman has aged quite a bit since this event."
It's almost like you should just tell the truth.
Right. It would have made life so much easier, guys. Just so, so much easier. These poor people. Mhm.
Um, my man, Trooper Joe Paul.
He's my favorite person in the whole world.
I love him. I'm so glad you said that. I just love him. I
I
just think
feel
he's
for him, right?
adorable.
My
Yes,
heart
right?
goes out to this guy, it really does.
I'm so curious where you put him because I
Mm.
feel like my opinion of him has changed a lot since initially seeing his testimony,
Mhm.
and I'm curious if you feel the same way.
Mm. It's a great question. I think I think my assessment of this guy is that he believed what the story that Proctor told him. And essentially, these guys gave him a task. And that task was find a way to make what we're saying happened happen. And so he did
Mhm.
that. And you got to give him, I guess, some credit for making that effort the way he did. I think probably if we put him in his context with his people, right? Like he looks a lot more credible than he does when we take him out of that context and we put him up against Arca, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I would hate nobody should be up against Arca. Those two guys are just two of the smartest men like on the planet and certainly, you know. But I have changed to a degree with him too because now I believe there to have been more deception in his testimony than I thought originally. Originally, I just thought he was absolutely an imbecile. And now I see him as more culpable because I think there was a lot more lying in it than I first realized.
Do you think that like that line where he said like, "Well, I didn't put it there," was like leakage?
Give me oh, when he oh my God. When he is talking about you have to remind me. I remember him saying it, but I can't place it in context at this second.
I
Probably.
just can picture AJ's quip back where he was like, "Well, you didn't." So he was
Right.
like, "Well, I didn't put it there." And he was like, "Well, you didn't."
Yes, it could I mean, it's not impossible. I don't know that he would have ever had, like, privileged information like that, right? I don't think they would have brought him in on something like that
Mhm.
because I just don't. I don't know. I don't know
Right.
why, right? I just
No, I
don't.
agree with that, but, like, at a certain point, do you think he kind of put it together and was like, "Oh, I get what we're doing here?"
Maybe.
Or he was just kind of just not thinking too hard about it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think we could probably ask the same question of every police officer in that office, right? Like, how many of those guys that used to be in that CPAC office, working at the DA's office for the Massachusetts State Police, or with those guys? Because I think he's not actually stationed in that office, but he's an extension, Joe Paul, right? So he's not. I don't think he's camped out at the office in Canton, but I think he's an affiliate, right? So it's a good question. I think, these guys, like, how many of those affiliates, how many people in that office started to believe that this wasn't what it seemed? How many of them really knew what was going on? And how many of them knew that there was evidence planted, but thought they were doing it for the right reasons?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe someday we'll know the answer.
I don't know. It would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I would put him like in that teal zone for sure. Yes, like right there. Because he should have known. He certainly should have known, right?
Yeah.
But whether he did,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if he was like one notch kind of like better at the physics that he's supposed to be good at,
I know.
you would think that he would have known immediately, the way that ARCA did their test and they were like, nope, that didn't happen.
Right.
But how many times do you think that he like plugged in the equation and it was wrong and he was like, oh, I did my equations wrong?
Right. Or even like has no idea what those equations are saying. And the other thing with him that was just an enormous oversight is the curve on that road. And I remember, like, when I first saw Aiden's experiment, right, where he backs up going 14 miles per hour or then 17 miles per hour, you realize, like, holy shit, if she had even tried to get up to 24 miles per hour for that 62 feet, she would have been all the way up in the middle of that lawn because it's on a straight curve. It's not a straight road.
Yeah. I mean, or she's just like a race car driver, like extraordinaire that they are pretending that she is. Because apparently you can do that while drinking and nobody hears it. There's no or anything.
Nobody hears it. Nobody sees anything. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is one more thing about that. What was I going to say? There was something else that I wanted to say about the accident. No, it'll come back to me. We'll just keep going and it'll come back because I know it was important.
I can't wait. Or it will pop into your head in the middle of the night like it does for me. And you're like, oh my God.
Right.
Lex is shot into space.
Definitely possible. That's funny.
Okay. Where do we put Mr. Loophole Lawyer's favorite man?
Piggy Bear.
Cuddly but violent. Piggy Bear.
Oh my God. This poor guy oozes consciousness of guilt more than anyone you have ever seen, right? I mean, it just oozes. Like, he's so guilty that he can't even think about John O'Keefe's nephew without being choked up and almost bursting out in tears. So to me, I mean, there's so many things about Brian Higgins that, I mean, he was there's no question he was involved in every aspect of this, right? The question is, for me, was he okay? My current theory on this, although I'm open to, be convinced otherwise, is that the well text was like his last attempt to get her to respond. And then when she didn't, he decided in that moment he was going to tell John about the text. And that's why a fight started. I don't think he was, because I know that Loophole Lawyer, I believe my understanding of what Loophole Lawyer was saying, or Vince was saying, was that, like, it was peacocking. It was like, I can beat you up and kick your ass and take the girl. But I don't think that's what this was, because the entire time that Higgins was talking to Karen, he was like trying to figure out what her intentions were the entire time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To me, so I said that to Vince the last time that we talked, and he was like, "No, guys don't do that. Like, they just wanted to fight." And I was like, "Well, I have a hard time in general trying to like put my own like what people do into this scenario,
Yeah.
just because like so many things were out of what I would consider like the norm, that's harder for me. But to me, it all makes a ton more sense if the chit chat chatter with everybody was Higgins is going to tell John that Karen's been texting him. Because in my mind, that is exciting for Jen McCabe. Like,
Yeah.
suddenly she's like, yeah, oh my God. Like Higgins and Karen kissed. Oh my God. And now Higgins is going to tell John, like, we have to get them alone so that we can make that happen. And it's not, I don't it all makes a ton more sense if it's gossipy rather than
Mhm.
violent, because like
Mhm.
I can't see Jen being as excited about like Higgins is going to beat up John, like that whole thing about like them trying Jen trying to separate the two of them, like it just feels odd.
Uh-huh. Yep.
um do you know
Yes.
if it's like if it's gossip and it's like she knew it first and oh this is going to go down, like that makes sense to me.
There was no reason to beat up John. There's no reason.
Right.
Like, I hear what he's saying. I know what he's saying about how men think, and I completely understand that. But Brian Higgins didn't act
I
the
don't
way men
completely
act.
understand it.
Well,
Is it I don't completely understand it.
I do. I do. I was, if you know who my father is, you'd understand really clearly about that. But the point is that Brian Higgins didn't act the way men act the entire time. He had, excuse me for saying this, I don't mean to be like crude or, callous, but Karen Reed made several attempts, overtures to put herself in a sexually explicit relationship with Brian Higgins on a number of occasions, right? At least twice, he had absolute opportunities to have sex with Karen Reed, and he turned them down, right? Like, he was like, no, I'm not
He
doing
wanted the
this.
real
He
deal.
wanted the real deal. He liked her. So
Mhm.
that's not normal. Like, most, I mean, I hate to, sorry guys, I'm definitely generalizing, but I feel like in this case, even though he liked John, most guys would take the opportunity because, like, he doesn't really like John. I mean, he liked him, he's a good guy, but they're not like buds, they're not friends,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So, they were getting to be friendly, I guess. So to me, I feel like that, that's different. That means to me that,
Yeah.
like, he was thinking differently about Karen than just the normal, like, macho guy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a
You both hot.
Mhm.
Yeah. That I so before we place him, then I have a question for you. What do you think happened when she went to his place in West Roxbury?
That's a good question. It seems like it was a really well, they had to have had a conversation about whether or not she was seriously going to be ending the relationship with John. Because the next, like, serious thing he says is in the bar, and it's, well, and that's, one of the, I mean, it's not immediately in the timeline following, but it's the only opportunity for him to be responding like that, because we don't see, unless we're missing a big chunk of the text, which we were, I think, from Lally, but it seems like we got them most from Hank, right?
Mhm.
So I think that we have most of them, and unless we're missing something, it seems to me like they must have had a talk about. It definitely was the most awkward convo ever, and
Mhm.
they must have talked about her not being sure about whether or not she wants to end the relationship with John.
But a lot of people say things like this, like Puffy said, I don't think Higgins could perform, and I've gone back and forth all over the place on that,
Okay.
because on the one hand, it does seem like he like you were saying, like he wasn't like ready to do anything yet. Like he was kind of like, I'm not gonna do this until you're my girlfriend, kind of middle
Mhm.
school type thinking,
Yeah.
but then she was like throwing herself at, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I have no I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, I don't know what would indicate performance issues, other than he's not seeking a sexual relationship with her,
Hmm.
right? Or at
I feel
least
like
not
that comes
one.
from how sudden, like their text stopped basically after that. So it was like
Yeah.
they're talking like all day. They have that kind of like flirty excitement, like
Yes. Okay.
something between like a new relationship and doing something sneaky. I don't know like where the
Yes.
excitement was coming from. And then she was kind of ready to cross the line,
Yes.
and then she left and it was like radio silence. Ew.
I think that she felt like denied. Like,
Yeah.
like he didn't want her was the feeling because she really did put herself in a situation where she drove all the way to his place, wasn't
Mhm.
convenient. She's telling him just before that, like, we're grown-ups, you know what this is.
Mhm.
Like when I'm a grown up, when an adult says we're coming for a drink, we know what that really means. Like she had done everything to set it up. I think he
Mhm.
was very I don't think it was a performance thing. I think he was concerned that it was a setup. The whole time he's worrying like, "Is this John? Am I even talking to
Mhm.
Karen?" Like, I think he was just really almost paranoid about what this was, if she was using him to get back, because he knew about the Aruba thing. He wasn't sure if it
Mhm.
was just like, "Are you trying to use me to get back at him? I don't wanna be a toy for you." So I think look, if it hadn't been for John, would he have slept with her? Very likely, yes. But that's why I don't see Brian Higgins getting drunk and then wanting to beat John up because he liked him.
Right. Yeah.
He
So
liked
it's
him.
more like, let me tell you, I'm over this. I wanna blow it up. I want
Yep.
her to like, I feel bad, and now I want her to feel bad too.
Yes, correct. That's exactly what it was.
And I feel like for
Yes.
Karen in that moment too, it was like he was serving a purpose that was making her feel desired in a
Mhm.
relationship that she wasn't getting that. So for him to like reject her in that moment where she's like literally throwing herself at him, it's like a double whammy of like you were supposed to like want me. And then it's kind of like, well, I could get rejected at home. Like I'd have
Now I just
rejection at
got
home.
cock blocked by my boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so where do
Yes.
we put him? Killer
Well, and
plus
also
motive plus
remember the first person, I think this is so ironic. The first person that John walks into that waterfall bar and greets is Ryan Higgins. He goes right up to him and he gives him like a big hug. It's like, it's just this really surreal. And John seems
I
so
hate
likable. Like you
that.
just see the way he was
Mhm,
moving. I don't know. It's to me, it's just as likely, I should say this. It's just as likely as Brian Higgins was going to show John the conversation and John made the first move, which
like,
caused a
through the first
reaction.
punch you mean
Through
or,
the
like
first punch. Yes.
interesting, yeah.
Perceiving it as an aggressive, it's like, what the fuck? What are you doing right now? Because he was
Mhm.
drunk too, right? To me, it's just as likely because everything, I don't know. That would be my take. So where would I put him? Well, he's interesting, right? Because he's like not as much. How involved is he in the cover up, right? I mean, he's not as involved in the cover up part. I mean, okay, well, maybe like the aftermath. I mean, not in the original. So he would
Yeah,
definitely be yes, right there, like because he was the
perfect.
catalyst. Had Brian Higgins gone home, went to sleep, there is no
Mhm.
fight, there is no death, there is John O'Keefe is still walking around, you know.
Yeah, those things
Yeah,
always make me, like, so sad to think about, where it's
I
like
know.
that, like, sliding doors, like, if just one little thing was different, if he ugh,
I
gives me
know,
chills.
right? 10 minutes, if they had stayed 10 minutes at the waterfall longer or, like, outside or anything, right? I mean, anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, the piece of the cover up that he was involved in was like
Oh,
his relationship with Berkowitz and being at the Canton PD, but like
100%.
I don't know that he was like it was I to me he feels more like he was like lurking and watching and panicking,
Mhm.
but not actually like orchestrating it.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Forgot about that part. I did. I forgot about yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, right? Like that phone call at 6 o'clock the next morning. He tries to say that it's normal for the chief of police to call him at 6 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday morning, whatever it was. It was like, no, it's not. It's
Right.
definitely not.
And if it is normal to the point that he does it so often, then you should probably answer because if I called somebody at 6:30 every Saturday morning and they didn't answer, then I'd be like, I don't think I'm gonna keep calling you at 6:30. Like, I'll wait until later. So either like he answers every Saturday at
Right.
6:30
It's just
or
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's so stupid. This guy who's out drinking as much as he can be on the weekends at the hillside. That's how he knows Karen to begin with, right?
Mhm.
So,
Hot for the hillside.
right? Totally. Um, yeah, so
Low
ah,
low comps.
right, low comps.
Low comps at the
We
hillside.
gotta go to the hillside. I've never been to the hillside. I don't even
I
know where
know,
that is.
and you know what else, speaking of the hillside, any surveillance video there? No, we just never found it, don't care, because I'm curious about Brian Albert and Brian Higgins arriving
Earlier
and
in the night.
leaving, and yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so
but
frustrating,
appa
right?
apparently we only get, like, the little bit of video from the waterfall behind the flag.
With a thing over it so you can't see anybody, with a
Mhm.
giant, state stamp.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. It really, really is.
Okay, Michael Proctor, man of the year.
Great question. So, okay, Michael Proctor is a really interesting character in all of this. When I go back now, like now, right now, and review his testimony, what jumps out at me more than any time earlier is he's covering an enormous amount of the time for other cops. He's covering for Brian Tully. He takes more hits, this guy, for the department and for other police
Mhm.
officers than anybody else. And that is why it's really ironic also. Yuri Buchanan, we heard from some of the jurors, right? More than longing to fit in, these were like, yeah, like his flock, right? Like his group. And he was gonna die on that sword, no matter what the cost to him. And that is why Yuri, in the second trial, basically blows up the whole case. Because when you listen to what the jurors had to say after the fact, it was Buchanan that really was like, all right, this guy, what an arrogant prick, right? I mean, he was just so cocky, so arrogant. It just sent up red flags for everyone. He spent 3 days or whatever it was on the stand. I actually grew to like him by the end because he was just, you know, such an arrogant jerk. But at the end of the day, the reason why he, I think, showed up that way was because he was going to defend Proctor no matter what. And the reason for that is because Proctor is the one that took the hit for everybody.
Mhm.
I mean, he should never have been a cop to begin with. The guy is clearly like, come on, obviously inept, should never have been a police officer. But it was like his identity, it was his world. This is what he like, you could see it was like, he wanted to play cops and robbers when he was like 4 years old, right? Like he was like the Derek Jeter like wannabe of Canton or Massachusetts State Police, right? Like dreaming about being the shortstop for the Yankees, but the Massachusetts State Police instead. So, I think this was like what he wanted more than anything in the whole world. But at the end of the day, he took the hit for everyone.
Yeah. I said once, which got retweeted by Lindsay Gattani, and that scared me because I feel like they monitor what she says, but I said once that
Scary.
Proctor wasn't the problem, Proctor is a problem, and if Proctor had been hired by an organization that had really strong leadership at the top and worked somewhere where they really invested in him and believed in him, and they like told him he was great and brought it out in him and held him to really high expectations, and they coached him to get there, I think he would have been fine. Like, I don't think that he was, um,
A bad
I don't think that
person.
he was, yeah, he's not like, like
No.
he was just matching the energy
Mhm.
of the organization that hired him, and he fit in perfectly. It's like he didn't really have to do much, just be his kind of disgusting self and
Yeah.
get away with it.
The thing that is striking for me, like Buchanan worked for like Air Force One, right? Like Buchanan was a legitimate guy. And so, you compare like what his job responsibilities used to be and the seriousness of that, and then what he was doing with Proctor. Now, it's like it's hard to comprehend. Because it's just there's no question that this situation was I mean, these guys did not do any investigating whatsoever, and not only that, they intentionally botched the chain of custody, they intentionally did not write reports, they intentionally, did everything that they could to ensure and protect somebody, something, right? Because we
Mhm.
know for sure that they knew exactly how to do all this stuff, and they didn't on purpose.
And that, like, it doesn't, I think you've said this before, like, it doesn't seem like the idea came from them. Like, they weren't the
Right.
ones being like, "Hey, I got a great idea."
Right. Yes. Yes. This whole thing to me this is all like Brian Tully, probably Berkowitz, like, and this is where the question about what was Morrissey's level of culpability is really, that's really like how much of a scoundrel do we want to make him? But, and I don't know enough about him to be able to discern that. But I definitely think that Brian Tully, I mean, I know Brian Tully and, possibly Berkowitz. I mean, he would have had to have been involved. He would have had to have.
Yeah, I think
So,
so, definitely. It I feel like when you just said that, it almost feels like all the answers to every single one of these questions would be in Brian Tully's phone log, if we could get, like, what time and who did you talk to? I just
right?
need his phone log from, like, midnight to, like, 10 a.m.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's some phone call in there somewhere. I don't know if it came from Morrissey or Brian Albert or somebody in between, and there's the answer to everything.
Well, and here's another question, and I don't know the answer to this. Like, I would pose this to everybody, right? Like, okay, is this a situation where the Canton people are just going to protect, like, they're going to do whatever they're told because they're protecting Brian Albert because of Kevin Albert, also because they've been threatened by Brian Albert before, right? We know there's a history between Mike Lank and the Alberts. Chris has all kinds of relationships with them, but also they all like love and admire Kevin Albert. And Kevin is, we know, was confirmed to be at the Minion meeting the next morning. So he's involved with the planning, the strategy, the cover up, all of that. Kevin Albert is there. He's at the table with them doing the planning. So he's important. And unfortunately, I don't think we know enough about him to like speak. I've tried to dig up information on him and it's just not a lot out there, at least not that I've been able to find. But he was definitely involved in this because he was at that meeting, right?
The
Melanie,
world's best detective ever. Hi, Melanie.
totally, totally, totally. So I feel
Yeah,
like there's like
Canton's
those
best
three
detective.
different, right? Like there's like three different possibilities. Like some of them were just like, looking the other way. Some were intentionally like planting stuff, right? And others were, you know, again, like just kind of doing what they were told and taking marching orders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, so where do we put Proctor?
where do we put Proctor? Oh man. Yeah, I mean, he's got to be in the orange at a minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He knows what happened. I mean, he
Yeah. Yeah.
knows, right? He definitely knows.
Um, and then I guess with
Mm.
him, the question is always like, did he know
Mhm.
16 hours in? And I think you've landed on when he's texting his buddies. Um, where
Mm.
did you land on that? If he thinks he's planting tail light because Karen was guilty and they're getting themselves a quick conviction versus he knows he's involved in a cover up.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I think because of his relationships with Brian Albert, because of his behavior on that day, I think at that time and on that day, he believed that Karen Reed was guilty and they wanted, clearly evidence was on the mind of him, Tully, and Buchanan. They were only
Mhm.
thinking on that day about, are we going to have enough evidence to prove that this girl hit him, right? But then they
Mhm.
believed that she did. There was a cracked taillight, and these guys did not have these are not like the most sophisticated folks in the world, right? They just listened to what Jennifer McCabe told them. They trusted Brian Albert because of his reputation, though they didn't know him personally. Kevin Albert is his brother and supposed to be like this, this guy that everybody loves and fawns over. I think they were just going to go with that, like right from
Yeah.
the jump without asking any questions or even really investigating it beyond that.
Right, because it probably almost felt to Proctor like he was just taking orders, like, talking to Brian Albert must have felt very similar to talking to, like, his boss, and Brian
Mhm.
Albert says, "Yeah, the guy didn't come in the house, you need to go see, he
Yes.
got hit by a car, you gotta get over there quickly, these things move quickly, you don't wanna mess this up, go to the hospital now," and he's like, "Okay, sir, yes, sir."
That's a really good point, right? Absolutely, that Brian Albert would have known how to kind of command the situation and would have been trying for sure.
Yeah, like, "Oh, I had a situation like this once, we went to a car accident and blah, blah, blah,"
Mhm.
uh, and, like, hand on his shoulder, like, "You got this, buddy, this is a big one for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations."
Yes, something like that, right? I mean, certainly he knew enough to put himself there. He made sure he was in that house, right?
Mhm.
I mean, made sure that he accompanied Jennifer over to her house so that he was there for that whole interview and he wasn't asked to be there, right? Proctor wasn't like, "Hey, bring Brian Albert over." No.
And also the fact that they were at her house at all. They pass
I
you to
know.
go from 34 Fairview to Jen McCabe's house, you pass the Canton Police Department. Now I know they were recused, but they like were still allowed to use their rooms, blah, blah, blah. Or they could have gone 4 minutes the other way to the DA's office. It's right there.
They weren't recused at that time. They weren't recused until later on
Oh,
that
you're
night,
right.
till, like, allegedly, there was a 6 o'clock meeting where there was all the troopers that came back together, which is absurd because they're who were those people? But whatever, so there was no recusal that morning, and yeah, have you ever seen that? I mean, how many times have I watched The First 48 and every true crime show I've ever seen throughout the history of time? Every police department knows, like, interviews 101, like, even if you're at a scene and you're talking and taking witness statements, you try to get them back to the station. Like, everybody does it. It's insane to me. These guys were just like, "Nope, we're not gonna bother. We'll just go to your
It
house."
it was snowing.
It's absurd.
How could you stop at the police department if there's a little snow on the ground? Come on.
Oh
It's
my
like they
god.
have special rooms. They have, like, one-way mirrors and, like,
Recording.
recording devices. Like, anytime I open my TikTok, all I see is, like, 5-part series of, like, watch this person confess when the cop leaves the room, and it's like they keep the camera rolling,
Right. It's
but
crazy.
not in a
So
snowstorm.
I love your videos with the snow, by the way. That was awesome. It was so awesome watching you walk through and then, like, thinking about Proctor saying he's got to like take hours to, whatever, make sure he can get his car out of the driveway. It's like, come
And
on.
meanwhile, I was out for a walk at that time and just this is like one of those things where it was like, I don't even post a lot of like weird things like that on my Instagram where it's like a timestamp and whatever. And I was pulled up January 29th, 2022, and it was like timestamp 6:42 a.m., like the exact minute that Proctor was getting a phone call. And you can see my feet like kicking up a little bit of dusty snow.
So great. I love that. It's like fluffy.
It felt really like meant to be.
It did just watching it. Hey, Yuri. Okay. Well, I mean, man, I'll tell you something. Buchanan is more culpable than Proctor, right? Because
That's
he,
what I was
number
just going to
one,
ask you. Yeah.
definitely. I mean, he knows better. He lies, you guys. There's so much lying in his, I don't remember the first trial testimony of his as well, but the second trial for him, I mean, it's just unimaginable how much deception there is in that guy's testimony. So
When he first took the stand in the retrial and he was like kind of doing his sales pitch about himself and he was talking about how he speaks 3 languages and the whole Air Force One thing and stuff. Do you think that came from him or from Hank?
Him. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hank, loved it and was like, happy to coach that to its, milk that all the way.
Mhm.
But he loves that. I mean, Yuri Buchanan, that he like loves that. That's like his
Yeah.
badge of honor.
Yeah, it was like he was literally selling himself and I think he thought in that moment it was coming across a lot better than it really was.
Right. And I think Hank thought it was going to for all those reasons, right? Like he thought that he was the more credible. And, remember, he could have brought Brian Tully instead of Buchanan, but he goes with Buchanan probably because of his intro. That's probably why.
Mhm.
He thought he'd be the most credible of everyone.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so where do we put him? Like
Yeah.
that, but like in line with Proctor and then like one notch over.
Yes. Right. Yeah. I think that's a good spot for him, right? It's tough because it's like, yeah, it's a good spot.
Now I feel like Morrissey's too high, but I'm gonna.
I know it's tough. It's tough. Because like it depends on how I look at Morrissey. I could make him like the evil, like like the bad guy, but I can also just see him as like this completely oblivious, has no idea what's going on, and just kind of believes whatever they tell him. I could see it both ways.
Yeah.
So
Okay. The man, the myth, the legend.
Colin, oh how fun.
Colin Albert.
Wow. Okay. Good question. So Colin. Okay. Colin. Yep. You're right. That's about where I'd put. I think Colin. I think Colin is more in the middle of the red and the orange. Like I'd put him solid in the middle. And the reason that's where I am right now. And there are a lot of reasons why I say that. Most importantly, because of his own testimony.
Mm-hmm.
His testimony is incredibly incriminating. It's the most flagrant perjury of anyone, of any of the tests. I mean, clearly, right? Like you can't have videos of you in fistfights with multiple different people in the world and then get on the witness stand and say, I've never been in a fight, right? I mean,
only with my brothers.
Right. Which is clearly not the case, evidenced by the 2 or 3 videos that surfaced within hours of him like walking off the witness stand, right? So yeah. So there's
Do
that.
you believe like the whole like Nebercracker as a motive?
Absolutely.
Do you see that as a motive?
He was.
I
Yeah, I
hard
think it was.
time with that as like a motive motive in the I guess it's like motive in the sense that we typically use the word motive.
Mhm.
Like I feel like the word motive usually means somebody who's like planning and thinking about it.
Right.
And like I don't see that like a guy says get off my lawn and then he spends the next like 2 years being like I'm going to kill that guy if I get the chance. Like I don't
No,
see that.
absolutely not.
But
No.
motive in terms of like if there was something already brewing and he was drunk and kind of stumbled up, would he
Mhm.
be like, "Oh yeah, like fuck that guy."
Exactly. That's right, yeah. Because the other reason why this is the Nevercracker thing is important, again, if none of this matters, why are they going to such great lengths to hide it, to try to cover it up, to try to deny that these things were really happening? Because they were really happening. And we can tell, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we can tell from Colin's own statement, right? I mean, it's really clear to me. And when you take Colin's statement and you line it up with daddy, you line it up with mommy, and you literally go through each one, you can track where the deception is, right?
That's what I spent today doing.
Look at you, you have good cards. It's amazing. That's
Even just which
outstanding.
door they used, it's like
Right.
not your stories can't all exist in this same plane of existence
Correct.
because you couldn't have been going out that door and coming in this door and bumping into Colin here and bumping into Colin there. It just doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. No. I mean, that's the you're moving into like the whole other realm of absurdity, which is like, yeah, I mean, in my mind, these are all separate. When I say motive, I agree with you 100%. I think of it more like not a motive for murder, but a motive for not being able to eliminate him from being in the house, right? And yeah, see, this is the thing. In the beginning, it seemed like they were trying to keep all the kids out because in the very first 24 hours, I don't think any of the kids were mentioned, not Brian Albert Jr. and his birthday, like not Caitlin, like none of them were mentioned. So in the beginning, it seemed like, well, maybe they're leaving out Colin because they were trying to leave everybody out, right? In the very beginning. But the way that Chris behaves, I mean, look, Chris Albert, as far as right now, nobody that I have ever seen believes wholeheartedly that Chris was at that house, right? I mean, nobody believes that I have met enough to where they feel like they are confident that he was there. And that to me
I just am confused about why it says it in a police report,
I
but
know, me
besides that,
too. Me
same.
too. I agree with you. I don't know if it was the way people are talking about that is like, oh, it was just a mistake by Brian Tully, right? Because I think that's Tully's report that appears in. I
But
think.
like what a weird mistake. Like
I
it's
know.
just
I know.
unless they had a different like a different cover up going on in their minds at that time, like they were on a different they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just say this and we'll just say that."
Yeah,
And then they realized that was a bad story and so they kind of pivoted like
could be.
but yeah, besides that, you're exactly right that the only reason why Chris is still like as involved as he is for Colin.
Could have been the other way too. In other words, they could have said they were there because at some point they are there, but it's later, right? So in other words, like they may have initially said, all right, we're going to say we were there because somebody may have seen our car or whatever. There might be video, right?
Mhm.
Because there's a real possibility that Chris is there in the middle of the night. We see a Ford Edge. Colin had a Ford Edge at the time, as far as I understand. So that would have been in the Chris family. There's no way
Mhm.
Colin is going to be at that house doing any shenanigans, moving bodies or anything like that. Um, there's no question that there is deception in Chris Albert's statements about Colin. I mean, everything he says about Colin is basically deceptive. Now, we don't know what really happened, but whatever he's telling us isn't what happened for sure. So, and Chris is very emotional, so you can see. I mean, it's not even. It's a joke. It's so easy to tell.
Mhm.
Falls apart. I mean, he can barely speak at certain moments. Right? He just completely falls apart. So I think I'm pretty confident that Colin is there, whether or not he's involved. Um, and to what degree? How much are they just covering for him because he's a punk kid and has a bad reputation? How much of it is like he was really directly involved? I don't know.
Yeah. It just feels like if he was just a punk kid with a bad reputation, they would not go this hard. I
Well,
don't know.
that's the big
This is
thing. Right.
yeah.
That's the big to me, the biggest, most important thing that makes you almost sure Colin is there is the involvement of all these people. This Jennifer McCabe
This guy.
egregiously lying. Yeah, yeah. You know, Morrissey going to great lengths to defend him. All of these people putting their reputations on the line, coming forward. I mean, is Jennifer McCabe going to risk the reputations, the lives of her 4 daughters to protect Brian Higgins?
No, no, of course
Right.
not.
They
And
wouldn't go this hard for Higgy, correct.
then that's where it gets weird. Like if Allie's Life 360 data is really correct, and if this story that we just kind of told with like Chris maybe being the one to be there to pick him up or anything, like then they just threw Allie in and
Mm.
said, like, we're about to screw up your whole life to protect your
I don't
cousin.
think so that's a really good point, right? Like, would she have been brought in to, like, conjure a story that makes it seem like she's picking up her cousin? Is that
Yeah.
a great question? I just assumed she probably did pick him up and Chris came later to help clean up, right?
But then her life 360 data doesn't show that.
Well, right. So and that's interesting. Her Life 360 data is really interesting. Um, because it has so much happening too quickly.
Mhm.
I was thinking about actually playing with the Life 360 app to try to better understand the interaction between zones.
Mhm.
It's possible that that's what we were looking at. We were like these time shifts that were too close in time, given the amount of mileage. It may have been because it's going from zone 1 to zone 2 to zone 3, and that's the discrepancies that we're, struggling to understand.
And there was that whole thing with, like, if you're not on the Wi-Fi, sometimes it's not, um, as, like, accurate or something.
Well, it says that, but think about it. Every time you use the Life 360 and you're not at home or like, wherever there's Wi-Fi, it's going to have that little message in the corner that says like you're not on Wi-Fi right now and your accuracy might be affected.
Right, and the whole point of the app is to track you where you don't have Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Like, if you're on the Wi-Fi, you're home. It's not
Exactly. It's absurd. So that was like totally absurd when she was trying to because I'm sure it's always that little notification is probably always there, right?
Mhm.
So that was just silliness.
Yeah.
Right, the whole thing was, silliness, and Allie's I will tell you there's some really interesting moments in there too. I don't think we wanna get into it now, but there is some really interesting moments in there too where, like, you're just kinda like, "Wait, what is going on right now?" Right? And it happens so quick
Mhm.
that you can miss it.
Mhm.
You have to slow it down sometimes to, like, really see what's going on.
Like how she says, "I believe" before every single lie, and she
Oh
says,
my
"I
god.
believe" before every single sentence, so
Mhm. Right, and it's like she's I hate to say this, doesn't strike me she seems like she would be friendly with Colin, right? Like, whether they're related or not, they seem like they would be buds. Um, you know,
Mhm.
maybe not, like, you know, built for um, huge academic aspirations sometime later in life, but nice kids, can be nice kids. Sweet, good at, I guess, athletics, she's good.
She's
But
very
yeah,
pretty, so
very
her she has a
pretty.
pretty face that will take her very far.
I agree with you 100%. She's cute, has a cute little
Mhm.
raspy voice. But yeah, I mean, I think she was trying to make her sound more credible by throwing in, I believe, like to sound like more proper. And all it does is just make the whole thing like impossible to tolerate. It's absurd. I love
Um,
it.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Brian Tully.
Yeah, Tully to me is like as guilty as any of them are, really. I think he's completely guilty. Not of obviously being involved in the killing of John, but certainly in the cover up because, he would have been the one to plant the evidence. I mean, he would have had to have been. It's interesting,
Yeah.
right? Like somebody sent me recently was really awesome. A lot of paperwork stuff, just like official documents, going over everything the police did, everything the police did well, didn't do well, the whole thing. And one of the things that came up was all of the different crime scene groups that would have been available to Brian Tully on that day and that he didn't use. Instead, he
Oh,
calls up the
interesting.
CERT team. Right. So he brings in his buddy, like longtime buddy, um, this guy in Kevin O'Hara, who they've done lots of searches before. It's the CERT
Ah.
people, like they do missing people, like they don't necessarily do this kind of evidentiary searching. They say they're bringing him in because of the snow, but that doesn't really make sense. So it seems to me like what happened here was he brought in his buddy because he knew that his
Mhm.
buddy was going to defer to him and give him all of the like he said normally I would be the one documenting all the evidence, I'd be the one taking notes and writing up reports, but in this case I wasn't for whatever reason, and Brian Tully's in charge of it all.
And it's not like bringing a buddy like
Mhm.
he's saying, "Hey, Kev, like I'm, you know, we're rigging this thing," but more just like this is a guy that trusts me. If I say, "Look,
Yeah,
I found a piece of tail light," the guy's not going to be like, "That's weird. I just shoveled there." He's
right.
just going to believe you.
Correct. Yep. And I think
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. I think Kevin O'Hara trusted him 100%. And, uh, it was interesting though to hear that like because to me, he doesn't come across as nervous, but I remember one of the jurors saying that like he was so nervous, like he was physically like violently shaking during his testimony, which I thought was
Kevin
really
O'Hara
interesting.
was.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to, like, drill a hole in the ground with his eyes and just,
Yeah.
like, have the earth swallow him up.
Totally. It was so miserable. Like, please get me out of here. Not quite like Garino miserable. That was like a different
Tell
type
me
of
now.
misery. Garino. Oh my God. He might be
Uh,
like my favorite of all the cops, Nicholas Garino. He's just the
we're
greatest.
about to see him again in Brian Walsh.
I know. I know. I started actually coming, getting up to speed on the Brian Walsh stuff. Doesn't seem like that's going to be a very difficult case, but we'll see.
But did you get to the, recording of his interviews yet?
No.
Because 'Cause you're gonna have a field day just especially knowing it's like we almost know the answer to start out.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to do the analysis that you like to do, you're like, "Okay, I already know he's lying, so now let's, like, see his tells based on the
Yeah.
fact that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
know for sure he's lying."
Oh, that's fun.
Um, he's a chatterbox, like, we thought
Oh,
Carrie was a
no
talker.
way.
Mhm.
Really? Walsh
Oh,
is?
he they ask him, like, they'll be like,
Oh.
"Oh, does Anna, carry a lot of cash on her?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, so, like, one day, like, she went to the ATM machine, she took out, like, $20, and then, like, one day she was coming back from Serbia, and she had $10,000, and she has a JetBlue credit card," and you know those JetBlue credit cards.
Oh,
He has
that's so fun. Yay.
Yeah, you're gonna have a blast.
That is fun. That's gonna be so exciting. No, I'm, like, doing boring opening statements. Oh, really? That's so fun. I'm so excited, you guys. You made me much more excited about this now.
Yeah. Oh, did you get to the part of the opening statement where the defense was like, "So, like, Anna went to bar class and blah, 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 details, 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 and then she got dead. The end."
God, no, I did not hear the very last part yet, but I mean,
The
already you're like, "What?"
There's one sentence at the end, it was literally like, "And then Anna was dead." And thank you. That's your defense, then she got dead?
It's not good. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not quite at that statement, but we were almost there. That was like the summary of what they were saying, right? That like she just died and people just die and Brian didn't know what to do. And okay.
Melanie called it today sudden adult death syndrome, like sudden infant death
Yeah, of
syndrome.
course. Of course. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Berkowitz. Rest in peace. Rest in
Hey.
the place you deserve.
No, it's a sad story with him because he was like this beloved figure in the community. Did a lot. It seems like he did a lot of really good things for the community. This was like a really shoddy way to go out, right? I mean, like
Hmm.
worst thing that could possibly happen at the end of your career, really. Then you get sick, of course, but I mean, it just was a horrible, horrible thing to have to go through, and I'm sure dings his credibility in the eyes of some people, right? So, I mean, he's as complicit as any of them. I mean, to me, right, he found tail light. He's in the we see him. I mean, he is standing in the Sally port when that car is driving in, right? We know he's in there with Higgins alone, right, for a wildly long time.
Wildly long
Yeah.
time.
We know that. At least we're very sure about that. He calls him the next morning. You gotta ask yourself, well, what prompted that phone call? Like, did Higgins reach out to him first? Like, why? How close are they? Allegedly, he does he really say if you want to hide a body, this is your man? Do you remember that from the
Yeah.
speech?
I've never heard it because apparently it's taken down from like every recording that's accessible to people online. But apparently that is a line from the speech.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows where to find that, let us know, please, because that would be really important to have. But, I think that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about their relationship, right? I mean, you also have to remember Brian Higgins. I think it's easy to overlook this because Brian Albert had this like big fancy career, but so did Brian Higgins. Like his whole family was in the fire department. He was like a lieutenant, at the fire department. Oh, yay, good. Or is there any doubt? Like, was there any doubt where we were going for the for this for the sound for the
Of course
Brian
not.
Walsh case? Of course not.
Of course
Yeah, it's
not.
amazing.
Also, people have seen the video, so
Oh,
believe it.
really? Wow. Yeah, that's
And then
awesome.
Rafferty had the
Of
footage pulled.
course. Of course she did. Yeah, of course she did. She was, really close to all of them too. Make no mistake. She's one of them 100 ways, up and down and back and forth. She was like in the wings for a very long time. She started, I think, at the same time as Berkowitz in the police department. Like they were coming up together side by side. She is as much involved with, she's, I know, not there now, but she was as much involved with as any of these people were. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, Matt. Is that Matt that I see in the
Well, wait, so
corner?
where do we land on Berkowitz though?
I would put him. That's a good question. He's got a motive, right? I mean, because he's got a look, all these people have a motive, and that is right. Like they want to save face because they're protecting the idea that one cop could be injured out drinking with another cop, right? So
Mhm.
you see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like
Mhm.
it's bad for every cop in the world if we find a dead police officer on the other police officer's front lawn. And I think they wanted to
Yes.
try to sweep that up very quickly because of the appearance of how bad that looked, right? Um,
Yes. I'm giving us more space.
yeah, that's good. We're gonna need more space, right? So I think he's pretty, as much as you can be involved in the cover up, he was involved. He had to have been. He had to have been. These
Yeah.
they were taking these guys, this is paramilitary. Like none of these people at the low levels just throw taillight down, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
Michael Proctor doesn't throw taillight down without being told to throw taillight down. That just doesn't happen in this kind of organization, right? He would never do that unless he was directed to.
Right.
So they were directed to. They had to have been.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I I think everything that Kelly Dever said until she took it back was 100% true. Like, I think everything she told the FBI, that whole statement is true. And
Yeah.
if he was in the Sally Port with the car for a wildly long time, like, there's no other way to spin that.
Right. Yeah. What the hell were they doing in there? Right? Like,
Literally.
what are they doing in there? I mean, Brian Higgins was with him the night before, texting him to get him to come to the waterfall. So it's like, is Brian Higgins telling his friend that? Is telling the chief that? Or is he just trying to make it spin it like it was really Karen Reed that did this?
That's a good question.
It's
That's
a
actually such a
really
good question.
It's a really tough question to answer, and I will tell you the fact that he said that about the body makes me think it's the latter, that he probably didn't tell him about the well and the whole thing. Because are you going to say that if a guy, you know, knows that you murdered somebody by accident or not?
Right.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my, because I always just kind of thought Higgins immediately confessed to him. That's his best friend. And he was like, I did something stupid. But that doesn't really make sense, does it?
No, and especially not given how private he is. Like, he's a
Yeah.
right?
He doesn't talk out of school.
That's right. He doesn't talk out of school, not with the important stuff anyway, right? And I think he would keep listen, would you tell anybody?
That you got rejected and, like, no.
That
And
of
then
course not, right?
you got rejected, so you killed somebody's boyfriend? 'Cause that
No.
no, that's so embarrassing.
No, I definitely wouldn't. I mean, I guess
So
it
then
depends
he would go,
on
like,
yes.
there, because it's less if we think that Higgins came and confessed to him and then he was, like, covering for his best friend, then he goes, like, all the way here. But if that's not the case, then it's more like he's doing the cover up, but not for any, like, particular reason. Well,
So this is the problem that I think, like all these people who are like, "Oh, the simplest explanation is the easiest." This is where they come in because they come in, they're like, it has to be a cover up with 8,000 people and 50 cops and 30 medical examiners. And of course, the truth is like, absolutely, that is not the case at all, right? It's just not everybody is aware of what really happened. You can have law enforcement who are working overtime based on confirmation bias, based on their relationships, to not investigate the people in the house and do everything they can to make the evidence fit that Karen Reed is guilty and think they're doing a good thing,
mhm.
right? Even if they know deep down inside that what they're doing is, corrupt and start over time to believe that, she's innocent. I don't think it started out that way.
Yeah. I was watching your Occam's Razor video earlier, and, like, that's spot on because it's like, you can do that with anything. You can take any situation and be like, "The simplest explanation is that blah, blah, blah," and you can just make up a very simple story,
Right.
and
It's absurd.
that's like, you can make a simple story out of anything. That doesn't
Right.
mean that's what happened.
Right. Of course not. No, if you're gonna apply it correctly, you gotta like apply it to a very simple formula to get to, right, the right
Like,
answer.
there's a broken there's, like, juice spilled on the floor. Like, the
Right.
simplest explanation is that, like, that glass that's broken next to the juice is what, like, s was containing the juice and then fell and now it's spilled.
And
It's
yes,
not about, like, all the other things that led up to it. Like, it doesn't the simplest explanation, it doesn't tell you who knocked it over, how they knocked it over, why they knocked it over. It's just, like, an explanation for this one final event.
which is like what science is all about, right? Like when you study science, like, you know, when you start to get into these like higher levels of scientific exploration, you're so nuanced. You can only have conversations with like 10 people in the whole world because nobody else, you get to these levels of expertise, but they're so nuanced. Like nobody in the world, first of all, cares at all about what you care about because it's so nuanced, but also nobody like has the basic understanding that you do, right? So that's how nuanced it gets. Like it's so nuanced. It's so like zoomed all the way in and all the way in and all the way in and all the way in. And then you apply Occam's razor.
And that's why TED Talks were invented.
Right. That's right. And we
So
love
a very
TED Talks.
specific person could give their very specific speech about their very specific topic.
And in a way that's entertaining, right? If they
Okay,
have
wait,
that
I like this
skill
question
set.
because this comes up a lot. The question is, and I feel like this is coming from not like a troll, but that
No,
this
this is
is something
legitimate.
that,
Yeah.
but this is something that they say a lot, and I love this question. Like, what is your response to how is it possible that nobody has caved?
So it's everybody in this situation has a personal investment in not caving, right? Like everybody. The only person who I have any belief could even consider it, and this is how unlikely this is, would be Michael Proctor. And that's because he has like he has nothing to lose. He's lost everything. The problem is he never will because his parents are friendly with the Alberts. Canton is his hometown. Like he can't because he is just so entrenched on that side that he'll never cave. Like he can't do it. But you have to understand, like, the relationships here are massive. I mean, it's like they're built into the fabric of these people's DNA, right? Like, and everyone is self-protecting. That's the way I see it,
Mhm.
right? Like these cops, they're protecting themselves. Like, you think Brian Tully's gonna ruin his entire career, come out and say, "Yeah, I threw down some taillight," or Buchanan? I mean, Buchanan used to work at Air Force One. Like, everything is about secrecy. Everything is about silence, right? I mean,
Mhm. They're, like, used to keeping secrets, like,
exactly.
that's not new. How do you explain Kelly Dever?
I don't think Kelly Dever, I think she was like wrong place, wrong time, depending on who you are, right? Like I might say it was the right place at the right time because I like that she, told us what she knew. But I don't know that she has, like, if she was like my best friend, I'm sure that, she would know stuff about, let's say, Sergeant Good and Lank and how they changed reports. And I'm sure Lank got a phone call from Brian Albert that morning. I absolutely think that 5-minute call where he walks away, at 6:20 is Brian Albert, right after they hang up, the lights go on in the house. I mean, to me, I would say I'd put my money on that's Brian Albert, telling him what to do. So I think the Canton cops were very, very involved with the initial sequence of events and helping to support the Albert family. I mean, this is, you guys, this is like their police department, right? These are their
Mhm.
boys. And I mean, grew up with them. They went to high school with them. Like, I can't even communicate how close these people were all connected to each other. It's really easy to overlook that, especially if you're not familiar with these small Massachusetts towns. But these towns, man, they're like so incestuous. It's like, this person went to school with that person's sister and they used to date in middle school. I mean, it's just, yeah.
The only like, when my thought too, in addition to that, with the, like, why has nobody flipped, is, like, nobody's asking them to. Like,
That
it's not like they started making arrests. Like, if Higgins was arrested
great,
and then
great point.
Higgins had an incentive to throw Colin under the bus for a lighter sentence, or if they started on the other end and they arrested, like, this would be a crazy thing to do, but if they like started with Kerry Roberts, confronted her and said to her, like, we're either going to take you down to the station and book you, or you tell us, like, what did Jen McCabe tell you and when, and then they kind of like go up the chain from there.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Like, when the question is like, why didn't they flip? It's like, where? How would they even do that? They're just supposed to wake up one morning and be like, 911.
That's a great point. I mean, there's nobody ever asked them to tell the truth, ever. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know what the feds were doing. We don't know what the feds were examining. We don't even know what exactly the feds were looking to do.
They were asked to tell the truth by Aiden. Aiden told them to tell the truth,
And look
and
what
he
happened to
got
them.
witness intimidation charges for that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I guess that's the only thing that happens when somebody says tell the truth.
Right. Right. I mean, and that was so that's another, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but like Aiden's case tells us a lot about the characters here. It tells us a lot about Morrissey because we see how Morrissey kind of, uses the legal system to try to find a way to shut Turtle Boy down. They just don't do
Mhm.
it fast enough. They tried.
Or he just dodged and weaved and got out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but they in the end, they set him up all the way. They totally set him up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
That's
just
scary. That piece, like, really is almost the most terrifying part of all.
it is pretty scary, I think, too. Yeah. I mean, these guys, Jennifer McCabe has money, like sue Aiden for defamation if you really want him to shut up, like everybody else did, right? But no, they don't do that. They call their buddy the DA and they find trumped up ways to put charges on him, and they're still doing it right now. Like, do you really believe that Brian Albert thinks that he's on a crusade to stop witnesses from being intimidated to testify? Are you kidding? Is this a joke? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Are we serious with this? But, you know,
Visit defendingthetruth.org.
oh, that was hilarious, by the way. I almost died
Do
when
you
I saw
know
that.
they put out a commercial, like, the next day that was, like, literally my parody commercial, but real?
No, they didn't.
They, like it's, like, literally the same thing. They used the same footage of Ally McCabe and everything. I
No
was like,
way.
"Did you
Really?
copy me?
Oh my
Did you
god, I gotta
copy
start
my joke?"
monitoring.
Yeah, it's not great.
Those folks,
But
man, I just hope they keep talking because it's like
yeah,
they
we're gonna
don't
just cheer them on.
I
Love to hear from you
know.
guys.
So
Yeah,
great. Keep it up. Yes, because
yeah,
really, you
so
guys
brave.
yes.
They're so brave.
So brave. So brave. Keep talking. Yes, keep talking. Yeah, great.
Um, Matt McCabe.
Oh, Matt. My experience of Matt has shifted, right? Not that I ever thought that Matt was like innocent. Clearly, like the guy never came in the house, kind of. I would tell you that I think that exemplifies who he is all the way. That's who he is. Like he's that
Mhm.
guy. He doesn't really care very much about John O'Keefe. He doesn't really care very much about anything that does not directly impact him and his family. Fair enough. Um, Clearly is a tech guy. Clearly went into her extraction report and did something. Tried to do something. I don't think that was all. The fact that Jennifer asks which one when asked about her extraction tells you everything you need to
That
know.
when you stopped on that, I was like, "Which one?" And then I feel like you could write it off as, like, which one, like, Gray Key or Celebrite or something, but that's not what she meant.
No, it was not. She was absolutely asking which version of the document, 100%. No,
Which
you're
one? The
fine.
one my husband edited or the
Right.
one that Guarino didn't know was edited?
Right, or the one that we sent that wasn't edited to wherever, right? Yeah, totally.
I love
Yeah,
this quote that
I know.
Borderline just said, "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." I love that.
I mean, they just make mistake after mistake after mistake, and they think they're defending themselves. And the problem is, like, this is not a defense. These are admissions. What you're doing is admitting that you are culpable. So shut the fuck up if you don't want to be more
Don't,
culpable.
but don't.
I know. I mean,
That's a
but
great
it's like,
word.
how stupid are these people? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Because to me, like I keep saying this over and over, but it's like do you not get it? Like, you want to make this about Aiden, you can make it about Aiden all day long. And yes, he was in the beginning really important in exposing things that nobody else knew because there was no trial yet. There were not 2 trials. So he was important in getting the
Right.
information out from the defense. Now there have been 2 trials, and all you have to do is go digging around in their words and statements, and there's the evidence. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to even know
Yeah.
Aiden exists.
Right. It's like now I'm poking holes in your testimony from looking in my Instagram archive. Like Aiden didn't tell me that. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's so silly.
It's silly. It's really bad. Totally. So
So whoa.
where do we put him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not involved in the killing, but he must be in. I mean, is he involved in the cleanup? Number one, because John O'Keefe was heavy, very heavy, and we would have needed.
Interesting.
Colin would have been sent away immediately, which is why Allie's there picking him up right at 12:20 something, probably 12:30 or whatever, 12:32, whatever it is. So who else is there to help at that time? Colin is sent away. You have just the 2 of them. You have Brian
And
Higgins.
Brian Albert Jr.
And no, Brian Albert Jr. is not. No way. No way Brian Albert Sr. is bringing Brian Albert Jr. into moving a corpse.
Right.
Not happening.
On his birthday.
Yeah, on his birthday. No, I don't. That's not happening. Right? Talk about anxiety.
And Tristan's not there yet, or maybe he is. So maybe Tristan's part of
Tristan,
that.
good question. Tristan. Oh, how much do we love Tristan? Tristan. Right?
The
Like,
look on Tristan's face could make me laugh on my worst day. Like,
Tristan
I've
was
never
amazing.
seen so much like fear and shell shock from like nothing happening. Like you
Right.
just walked up on the stand and he's like,
Have you ever seen anything like that? May
No.
have been the single most incriminating testimony of all of them, because who the hell is Tristan? He was nobody. He was supposed to be brought in as like for like 20 minutes. He had never been asked a question by anybody before. He could not keep it together. Could not.
And when there was a moment where Kanoni said, like, is that what you were saying? And he was like, I didn't say anything. It's like, no, you didn't. You are correct.
That's right. He's like, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I don't know. You're like,
I don't know
what
time.
is going on right now with this guy? I mean, have you talk about consciousness of guilt? I mean, have you ever seen anybody this guilty who didn't do anything? Guy didn't even. Chloe would have been more guilty, right? I mean, this Tristan didn't even like. You don't even know if he went in the house.
I don't even think I have him in the game. No, he's not even part of the game. That's
Of
how
course he's
little I
not, because
think about him.
He's got nothing to do with anything except that he, picks. I don't even know if he picks up. She would have had her own car. Like, that's the thing. She had her car. Like, did she need Tristan to come pick her up? That I don't even know what's going on there, because she lies from the start.
Was he there to? Well, then I guess this comes back to where we started this in the first place: is did he help move John?
Right. That's a good question. Correct.
And if that's the case, then I can see why you're all messed up, because I would be too.
Yes. Well, yes. If he was involved, he's there to either, number one, help this panicked girlfriend get the dog out of the house, right? And or help the panicked girlfriend get the dog out of the house and help with the body while he's there. Very possible.
Yeah.
That's possible.
That's one that I'm not sure, even if they go up and down the chain and actually made arrests and anything, like I still don't know that we would have those answers
I know.
from, like, that seems like one too far removed for what we're going to find out.
Yeah, someday. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because Tristan is they're definitely trauma bonded. I mean, he's in the family, from blood family. He's all in. Caitlin seems to me to have potential I mean, there's all kinds of, we could go on all day about this group, but yeah, she does a lot of not telling the truth. The question is like, to what degree is Tristan, full of it also? It's crazy to think about, but all right, so back to Mr. McCabe. Where are we putting him? He is going, I mean, he's like really culpable. He would have been front row seat with his wife, if not even more so, because there are moments where like he has to do the things that she can't. Like she can't delete things off of her extraction report. He has to be the one to do those things. Right? He also, by the way, could have messed with Allie's. He could have been the one that does the screenshot or whatever's going on with that Colin text situation. Could have very easily been dad.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right? Because that's who would have done it. And it wouldn't have been Allie. It would have been her dad.
Yeah. Because I feel like he has a persona that comes off kind of like goofy, like goo goo goo. But then in that video where Aiden recorded them at the lacrosse game or whatever game it was, and the camera pans around and then Matt McCabe is standing right there and has like these beady, crazy eyes. And suddenly I saw him completely differently where it's like, oh, okay, you're like, you are a little scary.
He's a little scary. Yeah, he does not have, the thing about Higgy Bear, and I think this even goes to the nickname that was like selected, right? Higgins has he's an emotional guy. So is Ryan Albert. He hides it. He shows it differently. But these people are emotional people. Like Colin is emotional. Even Jen. These are emotional people. And I feel like, with somebody like a Matt, you're not getting that. Like he's like pretty stone cold when it comes to this. Pretty stone cold. Like this is pretty cut and dry for him, I think. It was like, do or die, you or me.
Protect the family. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I expect Jen McCabe with nothing less, honestly. She met her match.
I guess, right? I guess she did. They are an interesting couple. I mean, that's like a whole nother discussion, right? But they are an interesting couple, and they make surprisingly attractive children.
Gorgeous, yeah.
I know. Allie's very cute. Wow.
Yeah.
So,
surprisingly
hopefully.
attractive. I hope that goes in their anniversary card this year. Like, hey, babe, happy anniversary. We make surprisingly beautiful children.
I'm sure it's already been there a couple of times over at this point. I mean, listen, if any of these marriages, the level of stress that this whole group is enduring, it's either going to break these marriages up or bring them closer together. You don't know. But the fact that they have held through all this is pretty surprising. It really is.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it for some of them might be like there's still eyes on them. If it's like the day that the eyes are off of them, if they are still stay bonded like that.
Yeah. Good question.
Where do we put Chloe?
Chloe. It's hard. Like
I can do it.
I love Chloe because she like throughout this whole story, you're trying to figure out like where would Chloe be, right? It's really an important detail, right? Like where would she be? Like in order to try to figure out how this all happens, you have to account for the marks on his arm, right? You have to account for that. And so you have to like put him somewhere where Chloe would be. And that's limited. Like she's either outside or like in the basement, because we know she cannot be hanging around everybody upstairs and wasn't, right?
Right.
So it does speak to the fact that like they had to have been somewhere away from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely did not die of his arm scratches. No, I mean, but we do know how he died, right? Like, and there's like a little scratch on top of his knee. I don't remember off the top of my head which one, where it's like she could have jumped up right? And like
Mhm.
that little scratch on the knee could have been, it's a little scratch, like a baby scratch, but it could have been from like her, their paws on his, her jumping.
The s the scratch
Um,
that Yuri says is a tiny, tiny scratch, but also from a car.
right, exactly. Oh my God. Listen, if you want to know whether John O'Keefe was hit by a car, just spend like 10 minutes looking at injuries from car accidents. And
Right.
that'll be like the end of the discussion for you because you can't even, it's shocking the differences in the injuries he has versus what it looks like to get hit by a car at any speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think it's a great question. Like, I think, right. Of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't
Should we
blame
just put the
Chloe at
Chloe
all.
knew what happened?
I don't think Chloe knew what, I mean, look, I don't even think that she would have just been doing like, protecting daddy, probably, right?
Mhm.
Protecting her house, protecting her group. So I don't think she did anything wrong at all. I don't know though, like, was she an after he could have been on the ground already by the time she attacks. We just don't know. But we know that he had vomit and blood like on his, the vomit is another big tell, right? So so Chloe, I think, survived. I think she's alive. I don't think she was killed or anything. I think she's alive. I think she just was sent away very quickly after all of this.
Do you think she's really Cora, or that's just
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, there's, they must already know that like the dog DNA situation is, what are they going to, and it's absurd. That's not a real threat. They like to bring that up to try to make it seem like the defense missed an opportunity and that makes them look bad somehow. But it
like
appears
sometimes people talk about it like as if Chloe was gonna like take the stand.
right,
Like they're
right,
like,
right, right.
"Oh, but then if
Totally.
they don't know where she is, then she can't." It's like she's not testifying. She's a dog.
No, and where are we gonna get the DNA match? And by the way, did you guys give your DNA so that we could rule you out on
Right?
shoes and like, sneakers and the clothing and all of the DNA all over everything of John O'Keefe's?
They're like, "There's 3 matches for DNA. One of them is John's. All done."
Right. You're
Huh?
like, wait, I'm sorry, what? There's
It
three
seems like that's the one we don't care about.
three matches for the clothing. Like, of course it's got it. If it doesn't have his DNA on it, that's a problem because then it's not his.
Right?
Right? Like, that's a
Like that.
hello. Oh my God. And the way that all comes out at trial, like the Adam Lally. Oh, Adam Lally needs to be on here because like I would put him wherever like there is somebody who's the most like culpable of something besides murder, he would be there.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's the worst of all, I think, really. He's a terrible person.
Yeah.
He really,
It's
really
not
is.
great. It once you notice how much dodging and weaving he's doing to avoid anything incriminating coming out, it's almost funny. Like,
Yeah.
you can feel it coming. It's like we're ramping up to something big, and then he's like, "So, do you normally drink Miller Lights?"
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
"I'm
yeah.
what? What? Excuse me?"
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, and it's all intentional, like, it's so easy to see him as, like, this kind of, I don't know, just under the radar guy who's, no idea what he's doing. He's messy and, like, sloppy, and all of that is entirely intentional. It's all intentional, every single bit of it.
Remember Yannetti said something like he was kind of the one guy that, like, they usually he is friendly with the other attorneys, and Adam Lally was, like, the one that he never really, like, built up a rapport with. I wonder if part of that is, like, Lally felt like he can't it's like David Yannetti is, like, all goodness and angel and light, and it's like he's like, "Can't look him in the eye, all the secrets will come pouring out. Need to go chain smoke outside instead."
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a pretty good but yeah, I think that's I don't know that it's anywhere near that conscious, but I think that's That's a fair assessment. I mean, Adam Lally is like the world's most guilty snake of this entire story. He knows every detail of this case, and he knows it backwards and forwards. He knows who was where. He knows, where Caitlin is supposed to be, and he knows exactly the moment that, Colin isn't mentioning her name, and then he tries to do everything he can to get him to mention her. I mean, it's like,
Did anybody whose name rhymes with Maitland walk out the door at the same time? And Colin was just like, nope.
yeah, right. Like, how about oh my God, how funny when they're trying, when he's working with Colin to try to build the foundation of whether or not Allie is really the person on the other end of the phone, and Colin doesn't get it. He just doesn't get what he's doing. And instead of being like, we're building a foundation, just answer my questions, he doesn't say that. Colin just never keeps denying denying that he knows Allie at all. Like,
He's like,
no,
did
we
you
don't know
ever call this phone number and somebody answered on the other line? And he's like, nope.
that.
And
Nope.
he's like, okay, but was it Allie on the other line? Nope. Okay. Well, then you're too dumb to have this defense. So let's keep it moving.
Exactly what happens. It's so funny. Yeah. Yep. But that shows you like how quick they were to lie. And the other thing that is interesting too, they must have been told by Lally, definitely, and I wonder by Hank, were like, if you get in trouble, just look at me. Or like, they must have been told, we'll save you. Don't worry. We've got you.
Mhm.
Because they lean on them a lot.
Yeah. Who, if anyone, was driving the ambulance? That's my favorite question ever asked in the history of the world. Like, if anyone.
He doesn't even he just, he asks without even thinking about what the question is that he's asking. He's the
I'm
worst.
so disappointed that we didn't get to see him finish his being tortured on the stand. Like, it was so satisfying. And then they went home and then it just never happened again.
I know.
It was like a fever dream.
Too, which would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they like all came back. Like, I was like so fired up, like so excited to see it. And then they were just like, go downstairs and work together. Work it out.
That was Judge Krupp, right? Because he didn't want to keep throwing Lally under the bus. They're all. It's funny how the judges are so aware of all of us, and like they don't like it at all. They do not like being watched.
Not going to stop us.
No, certainly. But I mean, it's just interesting to watch how they react to it. It's like.
Judge Frenier is the judge for the Brian Walsh trial, and her energy is just so different than all the other judges we've seen so far. And just like it feels like we're seeing like a real judge.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. I'm very excited. You guys are making me very excited about the Brian Walsh situation now.
I think she's really cool. She's the one who did the hearing where she was like trying to get Laura McLaughlin to like admit that she had seen the Proctor evidence and had to say like, is there anything exculpatory in this Proctor stuff for Brian Walsh? Like, is this worth us pursuing? You've seen it all. And Laura McLaughlin was like, well, that would mean that somebody would have to read the reports, like whatever. And she was like, yeah, you do it.
What do you mean that somebody have to read the reports? Like, meaning that she can't read the reports? What does that mean?
There was like that question of like when everything was going to like spontaneously combust from like the federal order and the 10 days after the trial and whatever. And basically like Judge Frenier was saying, like, is this worth it? You are the only one here that's seen those.
Yes.
So can you just tell us, like, is it worth it for us to like try to get an extension? Like, is there stuff did Proctor say stuff about Anna and Brian or not? And she was basically saying like, well, I don't know, like I was reading it for like John O'Keefe stuff. So like I don't really know if there's like Brian Walsh stuff in there because I
Oh.
was only reading it about Karen Reed. And it's like, right, but like your brain still like takes in information even if you're reading for one thing. Like
I don't know about them. I don't know about her. That's yeah. It is going to be interesting to see like the cast like reappear and reemerge in this other setting.
it's like when you see like a spin-off show when it was like Saved by the Bell, the college years, and there were like some
Right.
of the same people and then like some new characters too.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true, right? And how they show up differently and how like when the pressure isn't on them in the same way, how they behave differently is really interesting too. A lot of them
I'm
changed.
happy to go down to the courthouse and scare them a little bit. Just I've seen you.
Yes, that's fun. You should go down to the courthouse. That sounds like fun. Can anybody just get in? How do you get in?
Um, also, like that was the biggest joke ever because I was too scared to go to the courthouse. Oh, like I went down once and I got scared and went to the farmer's market across the street instead.
Really? Well, how
Yeah,
do they allow the public in? How does that work?
yeah,
They will,
yeah.
like there's enough
Like a
room.
lot of people do it. I
Okay,
just am a big chicken. I need a friend to do something with.
totally. I
I
get
don't like
that.
to do things by myself.
I get that. Definitely. Okay.
Okay, we need to place Nicole Albert before I forget because she's your new person anyways.
She is. It's a great question.
What if I did? What if I
Oh my
dressed up
god, that
as
would be
Beth and went
hilarious. If you came like you go in like a like a black
I'm gonna go
like a robe.
in my Hank outfit.
Oh my god, hilarious. All right. I think she's where do we put her? I mean, she's gotta be like I mean, more culpable, I guess, than Colin, right? Because she's part of trying to get John to come to the house. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I'd have to really go back and look at this a lot more carefully. I mean, one thing that's really interesting, right? They all go right into their autopilot. Mom loves to clean. Mom is cleaning. Mom is off somewhere doing her thing, cleaning like she does, which tells us mom is probably removed from everybody else because that's what everybody has her doing something different, right?
Mhm.
So Albert has her popping in. Brian Higgins knows he's supposed to say that because Brian Albert obviously told him to, that Nicole may have popped in at some point. So all of that means to me she's definitely there. I mean, she's there. Like if anybody is there first after the fall, because we know he has this coup contre coup injury. Let's be honest. I mean, we know he was hit with a fist because he has a 1-2 punch. He has a cut on the top of his eyebrow, on the side of his nose, and then to the side of the head at the temple, right? That to me is like a 1-2, right? Right? I mean,
Mhm.
simple, really like direct 1-2. That is what it feels like to me. He would have, fallen, hit his head. Remember, this guy was wasted too. Everybody was pretty drunk.
Mhm.
Chris, like he looks pretty drunk too at the end of the night, just watching him from afar, like we were able to see. So, um, I think she was probably around, probably there. I never actually stopped and thought about it before. But if
Yeah.
you go back and you listen to everybody, she is not with everybody else. She's doing her own thing. And the people that mention her are Brian Higgins and Brian Albert, not Sarah Levinson and Julie Nate.
Mhm. Yeah, like they talk about like Jen was here and Jen was over there but we don't hear it
Caitlin.
all. Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah. They talk about Caitlin and they talk about Jen and they talk about, right, Brian Albert Jr. They even at one point mentioned Brian Higgins, I
Yeah.
think, but not Nicole.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, we feel good about where everybody landed.
I think so. Yeah. Look at this.
I like
There's
it's
a
literally the exact this is loophole lawyers.
oh, yeah, that's amazing. That is
This is
amazing.
This is going to be my new question for anybody I talk to about this now, because it really is such a fun way to see like
Where everybody
what,
falls.
yeah.
Mhm, 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 mhm. That is amazing. Look at that. That is outstanding. So wait a minute. Did he have Tully knew what happened? He has him on low. Wow. That's crazy to me. I can see
His
why.
whole thing was like nobody told Tully, and it's like he's a detective.
What do you mean? No, like nobody told him the truth?
He thinks like the only way that you know that anybody found out what happened is somebody has to like tell you. So like if somebody didn't come up and say like, "Hey, this is what happened," then like they still don't know today.
I hear what you're saying. I can see this. I mean, I absolutely see what he's saying here. And I could see a world where this fits. If I am sort of going based on that's what I was saying to you earlier, like this black and white sort of version of how this looks, right? These three guys know exactly what happened. Nobody else does. Therefore, when it comes to who knows exactly what happened, and then, right, culpability, I could see that, but there's just no way. I mean, Tully has to be the one planting evidence. The cops have to be the ones that are not writing actual reports about keeping track of the evidence, and they know how to do it. So we know they're not doing it on purpose. In fact, there's evidence that Trooper Paul actually used testing for the key cycle that he then later assigns to Karen Reed in this the infamous telematics data at 62 backing up at for 62 feet at whatever speed, 24.2 miles per hour,
Yeah.
whatever. There's even evidence that was his testing, like that he lied about that. So if we're going based on deception, then it cannot be this, because when I look at none, I think innocence, I think lucky, I think,
Yeah.
Barros. I definitely know that Colin Albert is not where Lucky is on this chart. I mean, it's not even right. I mean,
I agree.
so I get it. Like I said, I get what he's saying, and like I said, I could see it, but
And I think like his whole thing has been like he's just so zoomed in on that like time period from 1224 to 1238, basically, like
yeah,
right before and right after, that if you're not involved in that moment, then he's kind of like forget about it. And I think that's a fine place to start. Like I would, if we're going to solve something, we might as well get the ball rolling on that.
yeah. I mean, if you were an investigator in this case, that would have been a great place to start. However,
We are
unfortunately,
now.
right,
We are
that's
the
now us. So we're
investigators.
the ones obviously it's like absurd. How do they have I know Better always says this. How do you have no curiosity? Like as a police officer, how do you not have any desire to know what the hell happened? You just want to like pin it on the girl. That's it. He actually tells us, like, you think back on those, we obviously all know the Proctor texts, but when you think back on them now, it's like, my God, like Michael Proctor gave away so much information in those early texts. I mean, he basically lays it all out without meaning to, obviously, but it's like you get a lot of information from Michael Proctor in that very early days.
Elizabeth has the blueprint. That one will always, I feel like that one flew real under the radar, but like Elizabeth has the blueprint. What?
What the
What's the
hell does
blueprint?
that
Why did
mean?
we not ask him that?
Yeah, I don't
Like
remember that.
blueprint for what?
Wait a
I
minute.
think it only came out in this, I think it only came out with Hank, if I remember correctly. I don't think that Proctor read that. I think it was in the weird like Hank and his friend day.
Okay. In those
And
texts.
yeah, in those texts he wrote Lizzie has the blueprint.
Interesting. We don't know what it was a reference to. What was it a reference to? The blueprint for what? Huh. Interesting.
I
Right?
would like if anybody can get to the bottom of it, you can.
That's really interesting. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That was introduced by Hank. Okay. We're on it. We are on it.
Let's figure it out. That's going to be our
Figure it
next
out.
thing.
There's lots
Okay,
always to investigate. So
people had a happy birthday for you.
oh,
Love of
thanks.
the
Hi,
Jets.
Charlie.
I'm a Giants fan and a Chapel of Pats fans.
Right. You know how I feel about the Pats, so we'll just keep it quiet on that. Happy for you guys.
Charlie said, I'm a proud penguin for both of these incredible, brave, and
Mhm.
intelligent ladies. That's so
Oh,
nice.
thanks, Charlie Lynn. I love the name Charlie for a woman.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. I think this is
Ohio Palm Mom said, I think this is typical behavior. They just haven't been accountable
right.
before.
Yeah. Sure. Some aspects of it for sure.
That's one where it's like, is this just every investigation? It is. I'm so excited for you to start to watch Brian Walsh because it really is. You kind of get to see, like, I think they do some things normally bad, like not getting search warrants and stuff
Yeah,
and
definitely.
stupid stuff like that, but it's not malicious. It's more just like, oh, we're so bad at this.
Yeah, yeah. What is that? It's like hard to even know what to call that. Just culture, like cultural
Yeah.
malaise, or just oh, we'll get to it, or no big deal. We'll just do it later. That kind of a thing.
Constitution, schmonstitution.
Exactly right. And the other thing I think in the Karen Reed trial that made it even worse, they knew they had the judge also operating on their side. And they
Mhm.
absolutely did. I mean, they absolutely did. I have no doubt that they believed wholeheartedly that the judge and the prosecutor's office were 100% behind them in every way. That's part of why I think the McAlberts are so angry, right? Because,
Mhm.
like they feel like they were screwed by the prosecutor's office.
Yeah. I don't know how they feel like that because they're all living free, but sure, guys. You guys are the ones who got screwed in this.
Right. They have to keep appearances though.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Um, I gotta know it. I can't. What is RO?
Rule out
Joe. Oh, I
John
can't
New.
rule out John New stuff and Brian Albert used Higgy.
Yeah. People say that all the time to me. And like I've said, it's definitely not impossible. I just don't think they would have done it this way. That's my only
Mhm.
like at the house. Like I don't think Brian Albert would use his like personal home with his kids in the house to like kill a cop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Not on purpose, right? I mean, maybe it just whatever the time arises, whatever the right place, wrong time, right? Whatever. But I just don't think it would have went down this way if that were true. But
Yeah. I hope we like every time I go too far, I feel like now we're like so far down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, I just want to know. Like, can
I
somebody just
know.
tell us? Like, I promise I'll keep your secret.
You know what though? I think I said this like going back to like all the way back to the stupid things that like Scanlon said to Yannetti.
Mhm.
Maybe we just, and to kind of maybe Vince's point too, right? Like maybe it is just exactly what we all know it is, and it is that simple.
Yeah. And then everything else extra is kind of like it just evolved from this going on for so long. Like
Right.
all the other like additional people involved is just like it they had to just keep it going, and so then more people kind of got dragged in terms of like um you're just part of the story now.
Hmm. Yeah. And, I mean, look, everybody had like a little different part to play too. I mean, the medical examiner made a very terrible mistake when she ruled that he had hypothermia, but at the same time, because that really screws up everything. Like when you're trying to figure out who did this and you believe that he had hypothermia on that in his body, it is like who would have put him out to die? I mean, nobody's
Mhm.
doing that, right? They're not sociopaths. Why would you do that?
Right.
And of course, there wasn't hypothermia. So that's really helpful information. Because it's like, oh no, he was dead. That's what they were trying to cover up, a dead person. They weren't trying to murder somebody. They were trying to,
Right. That was and, like, that plus the Haas Long to Die in Cold search, like,
yes,
really made it seem like in the first trial, like, oh, they did just like he was about to die and they just, like, left him there and they wanted him to and
right.
that was a really hard thing to kind of, like, stomach,
Yeah,
and it it changed so much with learning that he didn't have hypothermia.
it's huge. It was
Thank you,
big.
Alessi and Wisniewski spots.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right? Lassie. Thank God for the intern. Like everybody, I think, was so critical.
Mhm.
Because you see, like you and I are in the evidence, and I can't even, there's so much evidence here. I cannot even imagine what the task that this team had before the second trial and all the extra help that they had and all the extra hands. It's like, this is a lot of information and it's never stops. And you can just pull on one thing and you think you're looking at it for one reason, and then you end up in a completely different spot, all the way down another rabbit hole, and it just never stops. It's just constantly like that.
The fact that, like, Adam Lally organized 70 whatever witnesses on his own, even if he was doing it in a shady way, it is actually quite impressive. Like,
Absolutely.
sifting through all the reports and knowing who to ask what to, and even being able to cover up things the way he wanted to is like, that's a lot.
He was very impressive, and he almost won.
Yeah.
He was very close to getting that full jury. If it wasn't for the 4 holdouts, he almost got 12 people to agree to a manslaughter charge, basically. 'Cause they
It's
were
terrifying.
ready. I know, but they were close. They were close. And there was 4
I
holdouts.
don't condone this question for you, so you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But
What is the question? Oh, okay. Um, ugh. Wait, Peter, what are we talking about? Who's Peter? Peter, Mary Peter? Mary Peter, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that one's an easy one. Hmm. Ugh, I don't know.
It's your birthday, you don't have to answer that on your birthday. Here's a better
Oh,
one. Sam,
yes,
this
yes.
person, Shula's best man, how do you
He does
what?
work at yes, he worked at WFN,
Big
yes.
fan of your dad.
Yep, yes.
Very cool.
Salute. Yes,
Um,
yes.
Samantha, did Brian Albert say John O'Keefe didn't enter the house because to him the garage technically isn't the house? And if so, the 3 flights of stairs, would that be the walkout basement where the carpet was torn up?
It's really interesting. I have a document that I've been looking more closely at that looks at lines up the Apple Health Watch data from Jen McCabe and the timeline of Ian Whiffen with John's Apple Health data from his phone, which we know is not quite
Mhm.
as accurate as the Apple Watch, but it's pretty accurate. And it's funny because the the Commonwealth tried to say that it was just all BS and it was him moving up and down hills, and that turned out to be crap. It actually was spot on in terms of Ian Whiffen's timeline. So I think he probably goes in the house. My feeling is John is in that house, and it's taken me a long time to get there. Let me tell you, I've been everywhere. I have had
Yeah.
him in the garage. I have had him through the living room into the back of the house by the pool. Like I have had him everywhere. And at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I wind up with him without shoes on through that front foyer and down into the basement because that's the only place that I could see stairs and a dog where it would be
Yeah.
private and removed from everybody else in the house.
I have gone on the same journey and landed in the exact same place. And the flights of stairs is like John's phone went flying. Colin might have thought it was his, ran up the stairs, there's chaos everywhere. His phone is going at the same time as John's phone up and down the stairs. And then he's like, oh, shoot, this isn't mine, puts it down. I still think it's possible that they deleted additional Apple Health data on John's phone.
Not impossible. Sure.
And then like Guarino never checked for that.
That's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. Did the cops delete something off of his? They could have very easily.
Or
They could
like
have
did Brian Albert or Higgins or whoever, like, did they have his phone and they just did like swipe, delete, and nobody checked for if
Right.
anything was deleted at that time?
Right, because there is that controversy. It looks to me, and you tell me, is it that Jen McCabe is the one that picks up the phone at 6:03? Because we see that when Carrie is supposed to pick up the phone, she's not. So she's lying about picking up the phone.
I don't think the phone is outside ever.
Interesting.
I don't think there is a phone outside. Jen definitely doesn't pick it up at 6:03 because she's still at the car and she's on the phone with 911, and then she leaves that voicemail where she's calling Coco upstairs. So it can't be Jen, and it wasn't Carrie, and it wasn't Karen, and the phone's not there anymore, and now it's getting steps. Somebody else has the phone in some other place inside the house or elsewhere.
Mhm.
And like, to me, everything made a lot more sense once I like let go of the idea. Like, the hard part was like getting the phone. Like, how did the phone end up there, and how did the phone get outside with no steps, and how did it? And once it wasn't outside in my mind, all of a sudden, like, everything made more sense. It's like, oh, the phone's just like laying in the basement.
That's interesting. You would think the first thing you would look for is the phone, but if the phone goes flying and you can't find it, right? Then you can't find it, and you have to proceed whether maybe the phone, maybe he never had his phone, right? I mean, what do you know?
Right.
Or you just figure, who cares? We'll keep it and figure out what to do with it. We'll get rid of it
Yeah.
somehow.
All I know is that it's not under him, and Carrie doesn't pick it up. And
Right? We don't see it. We don't see her pick it up.
yeah.
Like she's saying,
We also don't know, like, who. Everything about the phone is weird. It's like nobody knows which cop had it and which first responder, and how it ended up at Canton Police Department, and it
Absolutely.
didn't end up there till afternoon. Like,
Right.
everything about that's so weird that it's like, to
Shady.
me, it doesn't. Yeah, it's like it doesn't. It can't be trusted for any of the like grounding stuff. Like, we can't be like, well, we know the phone was here, because like we don't know anything.
Right. Yeah. So that's important. It'd be important to ask too, like, did Karen see the phone? I mean, that would just be nice to be able to ask her, like, did you see that phone that morning? Do you remember seeing the phone? She probably doesn't, but it'd be
I
interesting
feel
to
like
be
at
able to
this
ask.
point, her memory is so like shot from like the trauma, the alcohol, and the fact that she's
Absolutely.
lived the paperwork on this case for every day for the past however many years, that it's like she probably does have real false memories, unlike
Yes.
Dever, where it's like she remembers seeing the phone, seeing Carrie pick up the phone because like she's
Said
just
it
heard
many
it so
times.
many times.
Yeah. Same with Carrie. I mean, that was sort of to Jackson's point. I think that's true with Carrie too. Thank you.
Pimbo says, appreciate you two immensely. Look at that nice doggy.
I know. It's so cute. Mhm.
Whoops. You guys are the best. Charlie Lynn
Absolutely.
said, let's all adopt a day to support Emily.
Oh my
before
God, I would
going."
love to go with you. If I had time, I would 100% go. I would love to. It's so much fun. It's like fun. It's like a field trip when I was going out there. So much fun.
Yeah. I need to just like, I need to do one of those like challenges where it's like, do something that scares you, and then I'll like go do something by myself. Do it.
Wait,
But until
is there
then,
room though? Like, because I know for Karen, you couldn't just show up and go, but you think there would be room in the courthouse to just like show up as a public, like,
I'm trying to picture, the camera angle was different today, so you couldn't really see like that side, like where we could normally see like John O'Keefe's family and friends. It
Oh,
was like the camera angle was faced towards like the back of the defense attorneys, kind of.
right.
Um,
Huh.
so did we? I can't even think if we like saw if there was space, but oh yeah, and it's a different courtroom. It's the yeah.
So maybe it's
I
bigger.
can't picture like yeah, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, we just have to find out, right? Mhm.
Yeah. Even just to go like yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um I okay, wait. I'm just trying to see make sure that we got all the ones that had
Totally
question or
get it.
something for you. Um
Mhm. My friend's got Jen's phone records. Apple Watch only. Matt downstairs with her phone. He did Google search. Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Jen went to bed with the Apple Watch only. Matt is the one that's on her phone doing the Google search and the phone calls all night. Well, I could definitely believe that. I mean, that sure.
you mean he wasn't just downstairs eating cheese because he was on a weird diet?
Yeah, right. Because they were all on this weird, like, weight loss for charity diet thing that they were all doing.
And so you have to eat cheese.
Right. Yes. I get it. I got that. I get it. And Miller
Why
Lite.
wouldn't Matt search on his phone though? And then why would they
That's a good
offer
question.
to turn over her phone? Like nobody at that part is just weird to me and also weird in Brian Walsh where they kind of claim the same thing where he just apparently they only asked for his phone and then he was like, "Do you also want my 6-year-old son's iPad that I made all these incriminating searches on?"
Yeah,
Like
it's
if it
true.
was Matt making the searches, why wouldn't he just do it on his phone? Or why wouldn't he be like, I'll turn over my phone because I didn't make the incriminating searches?
Yeah. It's a great
Like,
question. It's a good question. Who the hell
it,
knows?
nothing makes sense.
No, and it was also like amateur hour. Why would you delete all of your interactions with John like that? You didn't think that was going to be incredibly incriminating looking? Like, why would the only things that you would delete would be even non-incriminating interactions with him, right? Like it was just a really stupid move. All these people.
Um, someone asked once, like, why did she delete the 911 call? And that's the one deletion that makes sense to me because if I had 911 in my call log, I butt dial people all the time, and I would have butt dialed 911 like 7 more times that day,
Oh,
and
interesting. Okay.
that is literally the only one that makes sense to me. Meatball Morrissey Sketty Stain said, "Give me Maddie Fromage."
Look at that picture.
I
Um
love it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see butt dialing 911. Sure. Yeah. I think I've called them a few times because there's some button, like emergency button on an iPhone, even that you can dial accidentally.
I can
Um,
promise you this that Crispy Treat just said is not true because I butt dial people on my iPhone all the time, and I don't know how, and I don't know why, and I don't know what my problem is, but I mean, I like do a normal butt dial where I like leave a message for like 4 minutes or I hang up um before it connects.
mhm.
But I don't know. It is possible. I don't know. Yes, I have a passcode and I don't know how to explain it.
I think it's because if you actually, my ex-husband does this. And I think it's because if you like, let's say we're on the phone and then before the passcode has time to like reset, like he'll put it back in his phone and then he'll like hit it before the passcode is locked on the phone. Does that
I
make
think
sense?
that's what I must be doing, except I lock my phone all the time. I like I don't know what it is. You can also butt dial people on Twitter. I've like video called people in my Twitter inbox. It's just so embarrassing.
Totally. Yeah, I don't like the idea. Mm.
Also, that reminds me when I said that you were coming on here, everybody on Twitter was asking you to be present on Twitter. And I said, this is not the best week for advertising Twitter. But I said I would plug it anyways, that people would like to be able to interact with you on Twitter. I
Yes,
feel like you always
Twitter.
know like what's going on, but you're not like present.
Yes, I
on it.
use it to monitor things that are important and try to stay as like it's truly just time. The reason that I don't engage on
Yeah.
Twitter is simply like I do not have time. So
Yeah.
maybe eventually we'll see, but not today for that reason.
Well, you'll get a very warm welcome if you ever decide
Oh, that's nice
to
to know.
make your presence known.
Yes. Trolls too, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then you just start blocking them.
No, I'm not really worried about it. I don't care. You can't really. I mean, if you really care, you're in trouble. Like I obviously can't, be out here saying people killed a cop if I'm worried about trolls, right?
That's a great point.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, I know you're usually up till like 1 a.m., but this is like way past my bedtime.
no, I know.
And
Yes, I'm starving.
I
Actually.
want to let you go. Yes, you need to go have some birthday cake and enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you.
And I feel so grateful that you gave me this time for us to just like chit chat and get this all out. And
Totally.
it really is like so satisfying to like
It is, right?
have somebody to talk to about this.
Totally.
And I can't wait. Maybe we'll need to do it with Brian Walsh and talk about we could like not even about the trial, but about the difference between the characters in Karen Reed's season and Brian Walsh season.
Oh, it's very exciting. I know. I'm you guys got me really pumped up for the Brian Walsh stuff, so I'm excited to check it out.
I can't wait to get to hear your take on everything. But yeah, I appreciate you so much. This was so much fun. Truly a little dream come true.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for coming and happy birthday.
Thank you. Yay.
And thank you, chat. I need to go to bed now. Good night, everybody.
John Keefe was 46 years old. Psst, Peg, time to cry, because remember, oopsies, you thought he was 45. John Keefe was not a buffalo on the prairie. When I was a kid, I used to throw boulders off of bridges. Ah, what a thrill. The dater is the dater. And tonight, I'm going on a dater with Shannon Welcher. We have no idea how the collision happened, but if you have any doubts left, remember this. My best friend, Jen McCabe, said Bella's mom. Of course Karen hit him. Speaking of Jen McCabe, she's a soccer mom. She doesn't use Signal like Arca. She keeps everything right out in the open, like how long until John dies in the cold. Didn't need Michael Proctor. Tully is our Uber driver now. As the trial ends, we remember Barrows lied not, Kelly Dever. I know our times changed to whatever, but cops can't solve crime in bad weather.